lottery. Do you know how the odds work?
Not really.
Well, every scratch-off has the odds of winning printed on the back. And the odds show us how many winners there are overall in the game, but not where we'll find them.
So buying tickets in a row doesn't guarantee that one of them will be a winner.
That's right, Chief. Winning is random.
Got it, Coach.
When you play the lottery, play smart. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Earlier, I asked you, what do you want to talk about? And you said everything, but you want to get more specific than just everything.
I want to talk about the gutter helmets because last time I was here, I remember you saying your wife made you get in a bucket of a tractor to clean out gutters. I'm hoping you have our gutter helmets.
Well, not yet. But,
all right. Well, I'm coming to see you.
All right. Well, the bucket of the tractor is perfect for me. I just fit right in it. It's very cool.
Well, we do sell gutter helmets. We can come out to your home and do an assessment of your gutters. If your gutters are in good shape, you could use your gutters and we can put the gutter helmet right on your existing. But if they're in bad shape or you've got rotten, deteriorated wood, we can also handle all that as well. So just give us a call. We'll come out and do an assessment of your gutters and get you some pricing and right on the spot.
Everything for the exterior of your home, and you don't do anything for the bucket of our tractor, correct?
I will get in it with you to help you install the new gutter helmets.
There's only room for me in the bucket of the tractor. That's Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. You find him at aluminumcompany.com.
Join Bailey's Fine Jewelry for an extraordinary Rolex event March 15th through 16th. They'll have the largest selection of vintage and current pre-owned models in North Carolina, including styles like the Rolex Daytona, Submariner, and iconic collector pieces like the Pepsi and Hulk, just to name a few. Collectors and first-time buyers, this is the watch event you will not want to miss. 2 days only, Friday, March 15th and Saturday, March 16th. Bailey's Village District in Raleigh.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free. No credit cards, no car loan, no personal loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value is way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards, get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
This hour on the Triangle Sports Leader is brought to you by the Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
You can feel the madness!
Go to GotBrian.com. That's GotBrian.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
This is the Adam Gold Show.
It's funny you asked that. I don't think we've ever watched a Duke North Carolina game together.
What?
Ever. I mean, maybe when we were kids. You know, when you're a kid growing up in North Carolina,
Right.
You're in school. You know, the teachers roll out the rolling cart with the big TV on top, things of that nature. And you go home and you try to catch the rest of the games. That's probably the last time that we watched the Carolina Duke game together.
That was Jason Capel from yesterday's show. I've spoken to Jason a bunch of times. That was probably my favorite conversation ever. And he sounds like a guy who is just in a great place, working with his brother. Clearly, they are incredibly close. And their basketball team is playing well. I'd love to see Pitt. That Pitt-Wake game, if it comes off, if Wake doesn't, blow it today against Notre Dame, I think that's the second game on the court, right? Wake Notre Dame's game number 2. We got Virginia Tech and Florida State that should be playing in a matter of moments. That's the first game in D.C. Then Notre Dame and Wake Forest will be the second game. Wake's got to win that game, set up a game with Pitt, and then theoretically, if we are playing bracketology, and we're actually going to do that with Jerry Palm in the first hour of this program, in the first segment of this show, maybe that is sort of an elimination game. Man, don't put me in the position of rooting against Wake Forest. I hope they both get in. I think they're both good enough. I think if they both got in the tournament, I wouldn't be shocked at all if they both won a couple of games. I think they're both good basketball teams with good players. By the way, it's the Adam Gold Show. I'm him. Graham Hill.
Hello.
You're not Victoria.
You just can't get away from me. From the radio booth
no.
at PNC Arena to that's not me on the screen. I'm John Cena.
What is that?
You can't see me.
Why is there
We're off to a great start already.
I think the people can be watching this, right?
Yes.
This is available somewhere.
We're live on YouTube.
Are we? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I found out that we're live on YouTube during the breaks, too.
Oh.
Yeah. Careful.
That's right. No picking your nose. Don't be a Jim Boeheim.
What am I going to do during the breaks? So, anyway, what was that?
We're doing some
doing
some housekeeping, and then we're getting some new. Yep, there I am. We're doing some housekeeping, and we're getting new cameras put in. And I think that is the camera that is going to Studio E, which is where Buzz Sports Radio is broadcasting from, not Studio C, where I'm at. So we'll have some fun with that for the first little bit of the segment.
And I'm in Studio D, which is what everybody's grades were who sit in the studio on a regular basis. All right, we got a lot of stuff before we start. Before we start the show, that's Graham Hill, and he'll be here all day. The second show is different from the first show. All right, let's just go to it. Let's just start this program. State won a basketball game, ladies and gentlemen. NC State yesterday won a basketball game. That's good. That's a good thing. DJ Horn sat out. We suggested yesterday that they should be able to handle Louisville without DJ Horn, and they did. Casey Morsell, 25 points. Jaden Taylor had 18. Michael O'Connell had 16. DJ Burns only played 11 minutes, scored 12 points. Right? I mean, neither team guarded a soul. Right? Neither team bothered. Like, it was fun.
They had money on the over.
Yeah, let's get up and down the floor, man. Look, and I find it hard to believe, by the way, that DJ Horn will play tonight. I mean, just a guess, because if you couldn't go at all, is one more day? I don't know if they beat Syracuse. Maybe we're talking about Thursday night anyway, and then of course that would be against Duke. Here's Kevin Keats on the overall vibe.
Give Louisville a lot of credit, man. That was a heck of a battle all the way to the end, and we're fortunate. Neither team played any defense. We happened to score 94 points, and I thought guys stepped up. Jaden Taylor had a good game, scored the ball, had 8 rebounds. I thought Michael was really solid, made baskets when we needed to, and Casey Morsell was really, really good. Maybe we should play all of our games back here at the DMV because he was really good.
Or without DJ Horn. I'm kidding.
Either or.
I'm kidding, of course. Neither team played any. Did he just say that? Neither team played any defense?
There's a reason why I stated it like that. I'm hoping that would catch your eye.
Neither team played. I mean, find the lie.
That they would state, do they really even need to play any defense? Because I know he said that DJ Horn is a good defensive player, but they got contributions all around.
Right.
I mean, prime example, Casey Morsell had 25 points. When's the last time Casey Morsell had 25 points in a basketball game? Not trying to be
high school,
facetious.
Probably. Right.
Michael O'Connell.
Good. Look,
DJ Burns, Ben
they've got good
Middlebrooks.
performances. Good for them. What about the possibility we see DJ Horn today, Kevin?
When we practiced yesterday, he shot a little bit, and we wanted him to go through, kind of our warm-ups to see how he felt. I wasn't going to play him unless I knew we absolutely had to have him. We'll do the same thing. He'll have a round-the-clock treatment. And the great thing about it is we do play a 7 o'clock game tomorrow, but he'll still be a game-time decision. He's starting to feel better, but, he's not moving well. Probably should have played him because our defense wasn't very good. He couldn't guard anybody, but certainly nobody else did. So he can play offensively, which is, who he is, but defensively he's not sliding well. So we'll know a little bit more towards game time tomorrow.
Kevin Keats leaning into the joke. It must have been a great reaction in the room when he said neither team played any defense. Like, let me try it again. One more punchline. Good for Kevin. Obviously, there's a lot of questions around Kevin Keats and what happens after this season. I've said before, I get the feeling. I have no idea. I get the feeling he'll be back for another year. And I think they're in a tough spot. I think there's buyouts they don't want to have to deal with. I think he's a good coach. He's certainly not a great coach, but I think he's a good coach. And I think if they could just get some kind of roster continuity, they've had just a couple of guys who have been here more than a year. I mean, who's been around here that's played? Casey? Everybody else is basically new, right? I mean, DJ Burns was here last year. I think we found out that DJ is more of a, spot him here and there type of a player. There are certain games he's clearly better than others, but look, the one thing that apparently was controversial though coming out of the game was NC State, their team having fun in a win. Here's Jim Boeheim, and you heard this on the ACC network.
I don't know why anybody that's got the recent history of these guys is celebrating anything except, I guess, being here. I mean, that's it. That's all I can see.
Ernest Ross signaling.
Those are the three goggles, Coach. I know what they are. But let's not celebrate until we win a game or two.
Jim Boeheim, what?
I don't know why Jim Boeheim's on the ACC network doing commentary if it's taking him that much effort to get through one sentence.
Well,
ouch. Sorry, Jim.
Like, they won a game. You're allowed to celebrate when you win a game.
They lost 4 of their last 6.
They didn't hurt anybody.
Yes.
They didn't throw anything on the court. Like, they didn't yell expletives at them. Like, just let the kids have a good time. Why does Boeheim have to be spoiled milk all the time?
I think he just hates anything associated with North Carolina. From Greensboro.
Well, that might be it.
To NC State now.
He's in D.C. He should have enjoyed it in D.C. Anyway, that was not a good look for the ACC network, by the way. Notre Dame and Boston College also won yesterday. You know what else won yesterday, Graham? My fake parlay won yesterday.
Gold Nose Ball.
So silly. All right, Virginia Tech and Florida State are about to start at whatever the building is called in D.C. The winner gets North Carolina, Notre Dame, and Wake Forest today. Winner gets Pitt. BC and Clemson will follow the state game today, and the BC-Clemson winner gets Virginia. The Panthers are going to look very different on defense next year. The Panthers will have a different look. Think about the players who are gone off of last year's starting defense. Brian Burns, out. Yetur Gross-Matos, who was a sometime starter, out. Frankie Louvu, out. Dante Jackson, out. Von Bell, well, I don't think he's out yet, but it's going to be out because they allowed him to seek a trade, but they're probably going to release him. Out. Jeremy Chin. Remember, I'm old enough to remember when Jeremy Chin was like, what a find in the 3rd round. You remember this, right? Like in his draft, when he was drafted, that year he was like, oh my gosh, what a future star, Jeremy. Like
how did he slip down this far?
They spent their entire draft on defense, took Chin. He was like, my gosh, what a player. He just signed with Washington for $4 million.
Cha-ching.
Like, I'd take it. I would sign with Washington, too, if they offered me $4 million. But that ain't great money for an NFL football player. That's okay. I am blown away by the star turn. And he was not going to play here. He wasn't. I think he played less than half the snaps in a relatively healthy year for the Panthers last year. Incredible turn the other way from what is probably a really good player. You just have to figure out how to use him because he's kind of a tweener. He's either a small linebacker or a big safety, which, I mean, shouldn't be that hard to figure out. Is he a good football player? Okay, yeah, then we'll find a spot for him. I don't know. Maybe he was all smoke and mirrors for the first couple of years. But Jeremy Chin is with Washington. But at least the Dante Jackson deal ends up being a net gain because I had thought that they released him. As it turned out, they traded him to Pittsburgh for Deontay Johnson, who is a more than usable wide receiver, a guy with enough speed and route running ability. He can get open, which, frankly, none of their other receivers could. I mean, he automatically steps in as a starter.
And it takes the workload off Adam Thielen, who's
well,
Asian.
Yeah, yes, he's ancient. So Deontay Johnson is not a 1, and theoretically, Adam Thielen is more along the lines of, possession tight end than anything else. It's basically the way he's used. But Deontay Johnson gives them another wide receiver who can definitely start. So it was a good move. I give them credit for making a good move. They were gonna get rid of Dante Jackson anyway, and they end up turning him into a receiver. So now you can be a little bit more, when you got 2 picks in the second round, you don't have to take a receiver there. There's going to be tons of receivers. I'll bet you can get a receiver who can play in the third round. So they've got 2 second-round picks. I mean, I would advise taking a receiver there if the right one falls. But, man, it's a good trade. Like, the Panthers are actually getting some criticism because, well, they overpaid for Hunt. They overpaid for who's the other Damian Lewis. They overpaid for him. They might have. It's also called free agency. If you're re-signing your own players, you're probably not overpaying them. If you're signing somebody else's players, well, the free market at work, you're probably overpaying for them a little bit. But it's hard. I would be curious if the people who criticize the Panthers for overpaying these 2 players criticize the Falcons for giving that contract to Kirk Cousins. I want to know the Venn diagram of those people, because that is a "are you joking" type of a contract. Kirk Cousins is guaranteed $90 million in the first 2 years, and to the best of my knowledge, he remains Kirk Cousins. So I just like, at the very least, I like their approach, the Panthers, over the first couple of days of free agency. So that's pretty cool. Good for them. They needed to rebuild the offensive line. They needed to address wide receiver. They've got a lot more stuff to address. They also, Ashawn Robinson, former defensive tackle out of Alabama, who is now, I think he spent 1 year with the Giants last year. But I don't know how great he is. He didn't sign a big contract, but, being part of the mix next to Derek Brown isn't bad. So, again, I think they're on the right path. They're at least addressing the right areas. All right, it is a college basketball jamboree today. I don't even know what they're calling today in the ACC. It's not a quarterfinal. It's not a round of 16, which usually leads to a quarterfinal. It's sort of a half of a round of 16.
Congratulations, you made it this far.
Yes, but don't celebrate.
Yes.
Jim Boeheim says. Jerry Palm, CBSSports.com. Our chief bracketologist joins us to talk about all the basketball that is about to be played and whether it has any meaning at all. Jerry, how are you? Are you in a bunker today?
No, I'm in Stamford, Connecticut, because that's where our HQ studios are. So I've been here for quite a while. I'll be at Sports Network, CBS Sports Network, starting Friday.
So you're in Stamford, Connecticut. You should go to Bobby Valentine's bar.
I have been there before. At the moment, it seems to be closed.
No. Well,
yeah, I was there last week, and this week it hasn't been open when it's supposed to be open. So I don't know what's going on.
He's the AD at a what is the college in Connecticut where he is the athletic director. I'm not sure he's still the athletic director. He also ran for mayor at one point of Stamford, Connecticut. And you know he invented the wrap sandwich, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did. If you see him, just ask him. All right, let's. So you're in Stamford today. Jay Billis was on with us a couple of days ago, and I saw him on with Scott Van Pelt, and he had an interesting idea because we do apply a lot of maybe unnecessary importance to these conference basketball tournament individual games. So this team needs to, win 2 games in their conference tournament to give themselves a better chance, blah, blah, blah. And according to Jay, that gives teams in bigger leagues even more of an unfair advantage. Would you be in favor of simply, when the regular seasons are over, simply saying, here are the at-large teams, and at the bottom of the ranked, and at the bottom of that at-large pool, you are vulnerable to teams in other leagues potentially stealing your bids. Would you be on board with something like that?
No.
Why?
That's nuts.
Why is it nuts? Why is it nuts?
Well, because you're asking the committee to meet for basically a week and a half to put together a list and then keep monitoring their list.
Well, what else are they doing?
They're creating a list. But now you're asking them to spend 5 days creating it and then another 5 days monitoring it.
They can do that on a Zoom.
Oh.
They can do. No. They can do all of that on a Zoom.
No, if the games seem overvalued because it's everybody's last chance.
Right.
If you do what Jay's suggesting, then they're just going to move it backwards and say the last 3 games of the regular season are going to be overvalued. They'll get treated the same way.
But at least they're in the regular season. Is my point.
Well, this is part of the season too.
So nobody gives, like, Indiana State didn't get. They're not going to get credit for getting to the finals of the Missouri whatever conference, Missouri Valley Conference, right?
Sure, they will.
Why?
I mean, they don't get credit for getting to the final.
They didn't win. They didn't win like a bunch of good games and just get to the final.
Well, okay, but getting to the finals is not a concept to the committee. But they get credit for winning the games they won to get to the finals.
Yeah, but they're not quad 1 wins.
Well, no, they're not. Did they play Bradley? They didn't play Bradley because Bradley could have been.
Gosh, that's just gross. That that would end up being a quad 1 win for different reasons. Jerry Palm is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, so I know you.
Quad 1 wins are the same.
What?
Not all quad 1 wins are the same.
Do the committees know that?
Sure, they do.
Really?
That's why they have a 5-day meeting. They could just look at quad records and put it away.
Well, but then do broadcasters know this?
No, for the most part.
Okay.
No. But you can't put entire resumes up on screens, So the quad record thing is an easy way to summarize.
So maybe my problem is more with broadcasters than with the committee itself. We'll see.
Well, I mean, let's face it, broadcasters don't have – they have to go do things quickly. They have to summarize. They can't put an entire team's resume up there and spend an hour dissecting it. It's just so they put their quad 1 record up there. They don't even put all 4 quads up there usually.
No, because we don't really need.
People just care about their best games,
right?
It's lazy analysis, but I don't mean that as pejorative as it sounds because it's just that's the way the time they have to do things. There's no other way to do it.
All right, let me ask you a philosophical question. What's better in the eyes of the committee? And this is a yes, this is a one or the other. There is no check box, if there's a different answer. What's better?
You want to bet?
I want you to give me one or the other.
Okay.
I love talking to Jerry Palm. What's better, good wins or what's more meaningful, good wins or bad losses?
Neither.
What do you mean neither? That's not an answer.
Well, it's also, but it's the correct answer. I could lie to you, Adam, and lie to your audience, which I always do, right?
No. Nobody's ever accused you of lying to this audience. Ever.
I know, but you want me to do that. The answer is neither. Really, the actual answer is it depends. When teams are being compared, usually what stands out as being different in the comparison is the most important thing, and that could literally be anything. So one team you're looking at 3 or 4 teams, and one of them, they all look relatively equal in, over these different areas, but one team's got like a couple of quad 4 losses. Well, guess what stands out? The losses.
Well, yeah,
Or
if all things are being equal. So
one of them is looking at like 5 pretty good wins, and the others don't have nearly that many. Guess what stands out? The wins. So it depends on the comparison. Strength of schedule sometimes stands out. It could be, your record away from home.
Right.
Is what stands out. It depends on who's being compared at the time and what stands out. So there is no one thing is definitely better than the other at all times.
Permission to treat the witness as hostile, Your Honor. I'm just kidding, Jerry. Jerry Palm, CBSSports.com, chief bracketologist. All right, so you wrote that Wake needs to win today against Notre Dame, and then they'll have a shot against Pitt. Is it fair to look at, should Wake win, is it fair to look at the game tomorrow against Pittsburgh as a de facto elimination game?
It would seem that way, yeah.
That seems to depress you.
As always, it depends on what other teams do. But those are teams that I don't have in my bracket to begin with, and so if you take a loss to one of the teams you're competing with, your odds of getting pushed up high enough to actually for like both of them to get in, pretty slim.
I think both teams.
It's more likely that the winner also gets left out.
Right, I
then
totally
the loser
understand.
finds a way in.
Here's what's interesting to me, because I've watched these teams all year. I think both teams are significantly better than Virginia, who looks like they're going to get in the field.
I don't know. I'm not mailing an invitation to Virginia yet. Not that I get to mail the invitations, but. But they weren't better enough when they needed to be.
I understand. I'm not arguing that.
Pitt, by the way, Wake and Pitt are really different resumes. Like Pitt actually, has beaten good teams away from home.
Yes, they have.
Wake can't beat anybody away from home. But they might, but Pitt might also have, off the top of my head, worse losses than Wake does too. So
they accomplished less.
In this case, it's both.
They accomplished less outside of the league, is what they did.
Who did? Wake?
Pitt did.
Pitt did.
Yeah, Pitt had a significantly worse non-conference strength of schedule. Didn't do much outside the league. They have done more.
Dragged you down.
Yeah, they have done more of their damage inside the league, and they started 1-5 in ACC play. So. We no longer have that last 10 category, which
not for almost 20 years.
Right, I know that, and that I'm okay with it. I really don't care. I do think though it is interesting. You have St. John's in your bracket, and nobody is going to convince me that their recent hot streak, largely built on the back of beating horrendous teams, isn't going to play a factor in whether they get in or not. But we're not going to debate the merits of St. John's, who did lose to Boston College on a neutral floor.
Right.
So I'll just leave it at that, Your Honor.
All of these teams at the bottom of the bracket, all of them. You look at these teams, and it's easy to find just how flawed they really are. And everybody keeps talking about expanding to get even worse teams.
So will it?
Which is why I remain firmly in favor of going back to 64.
Final question for you is: Will it make your life more difficult when we go to whatever the number is, 72, 78, 81?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. The larger you make the field, because the pile of teams at the bottom look more the same. Yeah, they're more similar in quality the further down the bracket. Because if you think of quality of the teams, the 1 to however many zillion we have now, is like a bell curve. So the closer you get to the center of the list of teams, the more the quality is the same. So how do you separate them? It's hard to separate them now. You add another 8 teams, they're all going to be equal.
Right.
You just be pulling names out of a hat.
Oh, you should do that. That's what you should do on CBS Sports
if
HQ.
They expand to 96, you're definitely going to be pulling names out of a hat.
By the way,
for the last easily 20 teams in the bracket, you'll be pulling names out of a hat.
Sacred Heart is where Bobby Valentine, I think, might still he's no. I don't believe he's still the AD there, but Sacred Heart is where Bobby
baseball Bobby Valentine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a Bobby Valentine from baseball too.
100%. I love Bobby V. He might still be wearing the fake glasses. We got to go. Jerry Palm, CBSSports.com, at JP Palm CBS on Twitter. I'll talk to you very soon, man.
All right, take care.
You got it. Sometimes I think we just have Jerry on to just goof off.
Or get him riled up. One of the two. It makes for great content either way.
I love Jerry so much. Kyle Bailey's going to join us from WFNZ in Charlotte. We're going to do that. We'll talk a little Panthers next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's madness.
Davis, the man with a hot hand, accelerates to his right now. Step back 3 on Cleveland. Ring that. He cannot miss.
Total madness.
Ben Johnson, shot fake for the win. Yes, sir.
Absolute madness.
Bruce Thornton ahead. Potter at the buzzer. Got it.
The Triangle's home for college basketball's national championship. 99.9 The Fan.
Let me talk to those of you who are contact lens wearers. Adam Gold here. Are you tired of wasting time and money? Of course you are. What a silly question. Here's how you waste time. Every day, putting in contacts, taking them out, cleaning, ordering new ones, glasses, prescription sunglasses. I could go on and on. By the way, all of those things also cost money. Dr. Lori Travers and Travers LASIK are the answers to all of your questions. In just 5 minutes per eye, Dr. Lori puts you on the path to 20/20 vision. Plus, totally painless. You could go back to work the very next day, and 2 years, 0 interest financing is available. Have I sold you yet? I should have. Here's the hard part. You actually have to pick up the phone. 919-510-6830. Make the call now. 919-510-6830. Wait, you could just go online. TraversLASIK.com. Again, the phone number is 919-510-6830, and the consultation is free. Travers LASIK, there is no one better than Dr. Lori Travers. Travers LASIK, see what you've been missing.
Academy Sports and Outdoors is the sporting goods store that's all about fun. And a new location is coming to Knightdale. With great brands at the best prices, you'll always find the gear you need to play the games you love and enjoy your favorite outdoor activities with your favorite people. Academy has it all in store and online. No matter how you have fun out there, your next adventure starts here. Your new Academy Sports and Outdoors store is coming soon to Knightdale. Until then, check out academy.com.
Wow. Check out all the great deals right now on brand new 2024 vehicles at John Heister Chevrolet. Like $3,000 off a Malibu RS or $4,000 off the Silverado 2500 High Country. With a 2010 or newer Chevrolet trade-in, you can get your hands on an Equinox LT for up to $5,500 off, a Blazer RS up to $7,000 off, or a Silverado RST or 1500 Custom for up to $9,000 off. Get off your keister and get to John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Varina. Together, let's drive.
Get ready, because Scott's is taking over Daylight Saving Time. It's such a big event that we're calling it Day-Long Saving Time. And now it's got real savings. In fact, it's the biggest deals of the year. Audacious? Absolutely. So don't wait. Stock up early and you'll be able to save up to $20 on Scott's Triple Action and Easy Seed products today at the Home Depot, Lowe's, or Ace Hardware. Offers available March 7th through 20th at select U.S. stores while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See store for exact offers.
March, as we all know, is a critical time to check your home's windows. I'm Tim Donnelly, and if yours are cracked or leaking or won't stay open or won't open at all, then it's time to call the pros at Window Nation. Right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 windows free, plus 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments for 24 months. With proven quality and service, it's no wonder thousands have trusted Window Nation. Don't miss out. Call 866-90NATION Nation or visit windownation.com to schedule your free in-home estimate.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
This is Adam Gold.
Dan on Twitter, who you got? Robert Plant or Elvis Presley? That is actually very difficult because I don't want to disrespect Elvis Presley. I think it's Elvis. It's very, very close, and that is an incredible question.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Graham Hill sitting in for Victoria today. I did hear some very interesting news after the hockey game last night. Apparently, Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers is mulling an offer from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to be his running mate as an independent in the upcoming presidential election. So, first of all, I do hope that he accepts. I think there's a fair chance he will. And all I am waiting for is the campaign. I want the campaign. America needs this campaign. And I will say this, we need to come up with a campaign slogan for Kennedy Rodgers. So here it is.
Okay.
Here it is. And I've already put this on Twitter. We're going to read these throughout the show. Anti-vax, anti-sax. Boom!
Oh, wow.
Right there. Right there. Let's talk some Panthers with Kyle Bailey from WFNZ in Charlotte at Kyle Bailey Club on Twitter. What do you think? Anti-vax, anti-sax. Does that work for you?
Maybe. It might actually get, I guess Perot was the last high watermark for independence. This one might challenge him. I think that was, wow. I mean, I've seen this news a little bit. I wasn't quite sure of how serious it was, but looks like it's pretty serious. So I think it would make for some pretty interesting political theater the rest of the way.
I think the story in terms of Rodgers being serious about it, certainly Kennedy is serious about it. That's the serious part. The fact that anybody would spend more than what I just did talking about Aaron Rodgers as a viable vice presidential candidate, that's the stuff that we have to have better things to discuss than that. I mean, unless we're playing music in between, that's certainly cool to talk about in between. And we will do that sort of in between the smash hit that you and I are going to talk about here, Kyle, which is the Panther. Is it crazy to think that I know that Brian Burns walked out the door and by and large it's a mess, but at least they've hit the right areas that they need to hit so far?
Yeah, I think it's been fun to react. This is the best part about NFL free agency here in a market like Charlotte, especially where, legal tampering opens. You don't quite know what to expect. And I don't think many of us had high expectations, or certainly not to this level of activity and spending money. But when they traded Brian Burns, $24 million came off the salary cap. And you've got a cap wizard in there now, and Brant Tillis, who negotiated Patrick Mahomes' contract out in Kansas City. The guy clearly knows what he's doing. And, when you look, you see these mammoth deals for the offensive linemen, right, especially Robert Hunt. And I talked about this yesterday, but then you look up, and it's only combined about a $10.5, $11 million cap hit this upcoming year for those two guys. And you've already significantly upgraded your offensive line, which is, good. It helped to soothe the wounds for a lot of folks of losing Brian Burns. But then we get back on air yesterday, and all of a sudden, A'Shawn Robinson's coming in to team up with Derek Brown in the middle. That could be formidable. And they're bringing in Josie Jewell, a linebacker who has had 100-plus tackles in 3 of the last 4 years. And most importantly about those two, it feels like there's very clear symbiosis or a good working relationship between Morgan and Evero, where somebody said, hey, Azuro, you're going to lose Brian Burns and probably Frankie Louvu, But what we will do for you is go get you your guys. A'Shawn Robinson was with him in L.A. when they won a Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Obviously, Josie Jewell was with him in Denver. So Troy Hill's back on a one-year contract. Obviously, they're hosting some edge rushers today. So you look up, and it seems very clearly like Dan Morgan's got a plan. And then the Deontay Johnson thing last night. I mean, that's just good business. You end up trading a guy in Dante Jackson who you didn't think that that anybody was going to take off your hands.
Right.
You were prepared to cut him, but instead you flip him and a pick for which I think at least your number 2 wide receiver right now, and a guy who specializes in getting open.
Yeah.
Right. What was the thing last year with Carolina's wide receiving core? Nobody got open. This guy, all he does is get open. So it's a great piece of business for Dan Morgan, who I think is winning back some hearts and minds right now.
Yeah, it's hard. Here's the thing. I go back to last offseason, and I appreciated what they tried to do, and I liked a lot of the moves. I liked the Hayden Hurst. Didn't work out. But finding a tight end who should have been better, and maybe that had everything to do with the fact that their offensive line was so bad. For whatever reason, their offensive line was bad, and it really, it undermined everything they tried to do with the passing game. And they're certainly going about the business of rectifying that. So we don't know how the players are going to work out. Free agency is a weird thing. But I appreciate where they're concentrating their money and what the parts of the team that they recognize that they must rebuild. Now, you and I have probably talked about this, but I've been saying it for more than a year, that the Burns train should have been leaving the station, not this trade deadline, the last trade deadline. It's sad that they gave up more for Sam Darnold than they got for Brian Burns, and that is just a matter of fact. But what do they do now? Do they have to address edge rusher with one of those two second-round picks, or do they do that in free agency too?
That's a good question. So I will say, as far as the Burns thing goes, I was a proponent of keeping Brian Burns for most of the last couple of years. And let's be real about this. If they hold on to Hassan Reddick and they don't let him walk in an attempt to keep other players, we might not be having this conversation today, because those two together was, a pretty formidable tandem as well. But it got to a point where there were hurt feelings, and a lot had been said and done or not done, and they've moved on. You're absolutely right. Now, in terms of what they're doing next, philosophically, Dan Morgan so far is doing a thing that even his greatest skeptics right now can appreciate. I think that they're building from the inside out. They brought in offensive linemen. They brought in a defensive lineman, a linebacker yesterday. And so, today they're hosting Chase Young. I believe DJ Wanham, former Gamecock, who registered 8 sacks last year in Minnesota, as many as Brian Burns did here. He's visiting as well. I think Jadeveon Clowney is going to make a visit here tomorrow. So we could look up here in the next 24 to 36 hours and say to ourselves, oh, okay, on paper that already looks like a side-to-side, front-to-back, better overall defensive front and or pass rush than what they could put on the field last year. And let's recall how many times that, Ejiro Evero made chicken salad out of chicken spit, and I used a P there.
Very nice.
Thank you. And how many times he did that last year with a lot of injuries. So, you give him some of his guys, you go out and you get, mostly replacement-level guys, or even, as good as Brian Burns in terms of production, then you might have something with an offense that they're retooling and revamping. And I still think that the next big splash is going to be on that side of the football. I don't think they're going to necessarily call up to Cincinnati and offer them one of those twos for T. Higgins, but they might. They might do that. And with 33 and 39, you've either got the luxury now of doubling down at wide receiver playmaker in a span of 6 picks, or you could go wide receiver 33 and you could take our guy Peyton Wilson out of NC State, who Luke Kuechly has endorsed out here. So he's bigger than me, he's faster than me, and I'm a big Wilson fan. So you got a linebacker running the organization now. I wouldn't rule that out either.
Kyle Bailey at Kyle Bailey Club on Twitter, WFNZ in Charlotte. There's a lot of people we have that didn't listen to it. Heck, they'll be listening to you later on your station, Kyle. You'll be there again. You'll be there again. It's very
well. No, actually, not tonight. Tonight we've got Hornets tonight.
Man.
Yeah, we've got Hornets tonight. We got Hornets and Grizzlies in Memphis. I've got the pregame show at 7. So unfortunately, no Adam Gold show tonight on FNZ. I apologize. I hate that. I hate that for the folks that won't be able to hear me twice in a 4-hour span.
Exactly. Kyle Bailey is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. that number 33. They still need a center, though, right? There's no chance that Brad Bozeman's going to be their starting center, correct?
Oh, no, he's gone. So they're moving Austin Corbett over. It's the current report. Now, Austin Corbett has played center before.
Okay.
I think he can do it again. And, look, this is the same player who, despite missing a lot of time last year for injury, was the best offensive lineman on a Super Bowl championship team in L.A. 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Austin Corbett. I like what he brings to the locker room. I completely understand this. Some are calling it an experiment, but I don't think that's accurate. He has done this before at the professional level. So I'm curious to see how he performs in between now Robert Hunt and Damian Williams. Brady Christensen gets to be a swing tackle,
Yep.
which I think is perfect for him and this team. And as far as, what you said about the center there goes, we talked about 33 and 39. I still would consider a guy like Zach Frazier out of West Virginia. He's just a mauler of an offensive lineman, loves to hit people. He's not the absolute biggest guy out there, but he's I think 4-time state champion wrestler. Those guys tend to make pretty good offensive linemen, especially in the interior. So you can get a little war daddy like that out of West Virginia and develop him as Austin Corbett allows you to have some experience up there and feel better about your offensive line than you probably have since Ryan Khalil was there.
Kyle, but you're already making this non-Panthers fan feeling like, you know what, this offseason hasn't been a complete disaster because most of the disaster has happened in previous off seasons, not this one.
No question. No question. And I think, not to cut you off, but, I talk to Steve Smith about this every Monday on my show, and, I talk to former players about it all the time, and they just remind fans constantly, and I'm a big believer in this too. In the NFL, the league is set up to where, for the most part, you should be one off season away if you know what you're doing. Now, if you employ stupid people who make bad decisions, you can dig holes deeper for sure. But in the NFL, you should only ever be one off season away if you have competent people running your organization. So I think the Falcons have to be the favorite today with Kirk Cousins coming in. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the defending champions. I'm sure they've got something to say about that. But Carolina, I think, is off to a pretty good start here. And if Bryce Young turns out to be one of the big second-year stories, and it really was about ineptitude and mismanagement around him in year one, then there's no reason why Panther fans can't really enjoy the upcoming season.
Well, I'm sorry, you lost me at the Falcons are the favorite with Kirk. The favorite for what with Kirk Cousins? I'm just curious.
Hey, it's a bad division, Adam. You and I both know this. So you've got a guy who's been through the fire, he's been to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. He's got an abundance of weapons down there, and now they've got a defensive-minded head coach with good pieces coming back. Listen, I don't take any pleasure in saying it. I'm not a Falcons fan, but just calling a spade. I think the Atlanta Falcons are the favorite going into the season.
Okay, I'm not Team Kirk Cousins. I think there is something about just being good enough to lose, and that's the category I put Kirk Cousins in. But
hey, you're not alone in that.
Yeah.
I've been told that by people in this building who think I'm wrong too, but we shall see.
He can certainly prove people. He wins a lot of regular season games. He's certainly done that over the course of his career. But the big games hasn't necessarily worked out very well. Kyle Bailey at Kyle Bailey Club. He will not be getting a second airing on WFNZ in Charlotte tonight. Actually, he will, just not with me. Appreciate your time, my man. We'll do it again.
Thank you, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Kyle Bailey from WFNZ in Charlotte. All right. If you have a slogan for the Kennedy Rogers presidential ticket, if you have a slogan for it, then I've already tweeted out the basically what I'm asking for. Something you could put on a bumper sticker. Something you can, maybe at a campaign rally, right on the podium, right there. There's a 5-digit code, text, whatever, to donate. And there's a slogan usually. And mine was anti-vax, anti-sax. See what I'm doing there? Both Rogers and Kennedy, not a fan of science, which is fair. You're free to do that. This is America. You're free to be not a fan of science. Right, Graham?
I'm trying to think of what I would want my slogan to be, or what the slogan should be, as I still look like a ghost. Come back for Jets, come back for America.
I'm going to read a couple, but we have what we call one-timers. Q&A session. Next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
ACT Construction Equipment is proud to be your certified local Takeuchi dealer in Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Asheville, Wilmington, and Myrtle Beach. Takeuchi has long been a world leader in the compact construction industry. Let ACT Construction Equipment help you find the right machine for the job. Our full line of excavators, track loaders, and attachments are designed for low maintenance and high productivity. Stop in today for a demo or visit us online at actce.com. ACT Construction Equipment, your authorized Takeuchi dealer.
During this sports season, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling to and from athletic events. Whether you are driving out of or across town, wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. Start the season off right. Prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. Remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Have you ever had a mammogram? I could never really afford one until now. New job with benefits? It's the same job with NC Medicaid. I heard they're covering more people. Well, you can earn more and still get NC Medicaid. Full coverage, low or no copays, prescriptions too. Was it hard to enroll? I went to the NC Medicaid website. Took a bit of time, but it's worth it. Are you anxious about the test? Not as much, now that I have NC Medicaid.
See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Need money for college? Well, if you're a North Carolinian from a household making $80,000 or less, the next NC scholarship could pay for more than half, if not all of your tuition and fees at any NC community college or public university. And it doesn't have to be repaid. We're talking at least $3,000 for community college or $5,000 for a public university and possibly more. Get all the details about the new Next NC Scholarship and see how simple it is to apply at nextncscholarship.org.
Hi, Darcy the cow here for Black Cow, the mature manure. It's time to start getting your flower and vegetable gardens off to a great start with Black Cow. Prepare new plant beds with a 1.5-inch layer of Black Cow in the area and then mix it in with the soil 6 inches deep. Black Cow is organic. Pick up the bright yellow bag and get growing.
Black Cow, the mature manure, Black Cow.
Are you looking for a 2-year hands-on agricultural degree while still gaining the university experience? I'm Lee Ivey, Director of the Agricultural Institute at NC State University. We offer 6 associate's degrees that span the agricultural industry and set our students up to meet their goals. Come live on campus, learn on our farms, and be a part of the NC State community. Learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. Deadline for fall enrollment is June 1st. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
This is Adam Gold.
If the kids want to get on the floor, they're going to get on the floor.
They'll find a way.
There are too many ways to get on the floor.
Yeah, and they've been drinking liquid courage all day.
And that is very possible, but only the ones that are old enough.
Only the older ones, yes.
So, the Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Chip Patterson next hour. We'll talk a little hoops. We'll talk a little bit about another miss by the NCAA on Capitol Hill. They had an NIL symposium hosted by Texas Senator Ted Cruz, and I'm embarrassed for everybody who was in that room. It has nothing to do with Ted Cruz. everybody was in that room talking about the wrong things. There was actually a hearing on Capitol Hill that mattered because it was not about the NIL, which is a waste of time to even be talking about. The hearing was about college athletes becoming employees of schools. That's the more important conversation. And that's where everything is headed. Real quick, before we do Q&A, before we do one-timers, campaign slogans for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Aaron Rodgers, who it's not official. I'm not even saying it will happen, but I think it could happen. Mine is anti-vax, anti-sax from Caniac Pack on Twitter. Don't let Washington be your Achilles heel. Solid work. That's solid work. That was actually the first one I got. That was fantastic.
Caniac Pack. Great Twitter name. Yeah. Great slogan.
I don't know that anything is going to do better than that. RELAX and don't VAX. That's from Rob. That's pretty good, too. Tinfoil hats for everyone. I mean, find the lie, but that might be disrespectful to, well, I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't be. Airwolf, then we'll get to one-timers. You don't need family values if you never speak to them. Too long for a bumper sticker. Too long to put on the podium at the campaign rally. But, man, that was pretty strong.
But, gosh, is it good.
That was pretty good. All right, one-timers.
All right, Adam, so we're going to have a little bit of an ACC basketball theme. In honor of the ACC tournament going on, we don't have the court out here. We don't have the court there in the studio.
We do not, because the TVs are mounted now.
But I'll just go ahead and ask the question. With the ACC tournament continuing in our nation's capital, North Carolina, which is the 1 seed, faces the winner of Virginia Tech and Florida State tomorrow at 2:30. And then Duke, the 2 seed, faces the winner of Syracuse and NC State in the nightcapper at 9:30. Assuming both UNC and Duke take care of business against their respective opponents tomorrow, who would you take in the rematch between Duke and North Carolina in the semifinals on Friday?
They're on opposite ends. They would only meet in the final.
So they would make it, okay.
They would only meet in the final, but I've said this before, I respect what John Shire is talking about. A lot of the things that happened Saturday night were things that they control, and I would say against most teams, yes. I don't think you control them against North Carolina. I don't. I think in their DNA, in this team's DNA, I think North Carolina is better at all of the things Duke needs to be better at to beat them. So what you need is North Carolina to help you. Can you beat North Carolina? Yes. All things being equal, I think Duke needs a little help from UNC in order to win that game. They need a bad shooting night. They need Cormac Ryan or Harrison Ingram not to go nuts. And in both games, one of them went nuts. Cormac Ryan did, 31 points. Harrison Ingram did the other one, 21 points. So they're going to need some help from Carolina.
My dad's going to give me so much crap. I thought that Duke and Carolina could only meet in the semifinals. Anyways, I just want to know.
Don't worry about that.
What's one of your favorite ACC tournament games of all time since you've been covering this area for a while?
Duke, Maryland, 2001 in Atlanta, where Juan Dixon had a half-court shot to win it at the buzzer that hit the back of the rim. That was one of the best basketball games I had ever watched.
I'm going 2007. Last time I was in Tampa, NC State, North Carolina championship game.
That was great. That was a great tournament. Just an amazing tournament in a place where, why are we in Tampa? Tampa was a great place to have it. It was. The setting for it. I understand that nobody wanted to go to Tampa, but it was a phenomenal place. All right.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's been 24 hours since we officially kicked things off, so how we feeling? Hey, it's Victoria Vodnecker for BetMGM, and in case you weren't in North Carolina over the last 24 hours, BetMGM is now live. You can download the app today and wager on your favorite sports from anywhere in the state. You can check out exclusive features that help you pick your perfect parlay, see those latest boosted odds specials, and if I'm being honest, it's a fun way to test things out. And you have plenty of options like hockey. We have another UFC card this weekend. Oh, yeah, and there's this college basketball tournament happening. I don't know if you've heard of that. So many different ways that you could try your hand at using BetMGM. And in case you haven't signed up yet, make sure you use promo code Victoria. It's showtime, North Carolina, and the ball is in your court with the king of sportsbooks. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
You call that a precision stop?
When a rookie stunt driver, just give me a shot, meets the trainer who thought he'd seen it all.
Come on, focus.
They'll soon find out that behind the wheel of the Nissan Rogue, with the power of VC turbo and the most fuel-efficient gas-powered engine in its class,
watch this,
the protege can become a master. But this is no ordinary blockbuster. It's a Nissan sales event ad.
Whoa!
Level up your drive with 1.9% APR financing for 60 months on the 2023 Nissan Rogue. Shop the Nissan sales event. Visit your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today. Auto Pacific segmentation excluding hybrids and electric vehicles. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city, 34 highway to 30 city, 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. For well-qualified buyers, 1.9% APR financing for 60 months on new 2023 Rogue and dealer stock. Example, 60 months financing at $1,748 per month per thousand financed. Actual down payment may vary. Subject to residency restrictions and INMAC credit approval. Not all buyers qualify. Dealer contribution may affect actual price set by dealer. Contact dealer for details. Ends 4/1/24.
What? New scratch-offs are out? That means new chances to become a North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club member.
Yeah, in the Winners Club, I'll reinvent myself. I won't go by just plain Todd. I'll go by Toddrick. I'll get a gold jacket, play my saxophone again. I'll stop and smell the flowers. Call my mom more.
Oh, wrap it up, Todd.
It's Toddrick.
This month's tickets pack $370 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 2.93 to 4.24. Problem killing helpline 877-718-5543.
Now is the time to switch to Spectrum. Get Spectrum Internet, delivering fast and reliable speeds for just $49.99 a month. Plus free advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced security and a free Spectrum Mobile Unlimited line with nationwide 5G. Ask how you can get a Visa Rewards card up to $500 when you add more mobile lines, internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and mobile. Get it all with Spectrum One. Go to spectrum.com for full details. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Restrictions apply.
Sanja loves to bathe, but her feet, they were throbbing. Then one day, I found a solution. Arch supports from the Good Feet store. Have foot pain? Good Feet could help.
You too can live the life you love with Arch supports from the Good Feet store.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. What a great time for sports. The College Hoops Tournament in hockey is in the home stretch. I call games in Seattle and around the country, but when I'm back in the Triangle, I head right to Buffalo Brothers. Make sure you visit Buffalo Brothers for all the big games. Always great specials, like half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Dine in, carry out at all 5 Triangle locations and online at buffbrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
This hour on the Triangle Sports Leader is brought to you by the Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
You can feel the madness.
Go to GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This is the Adam Gold Show.
Yeah, I mean, if they were to lose today against Louisville, it would be only winning 4 out of the last 15 games. That's going 4-11 total to close out the season. That's not a good look when you're talking about job security for a coach. The sense that I get, the boosters are not particularly happy with where the program is right now. When we were talking 2 weeks ago, job security didn't look great, but it looked significantly better than where it is right now.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Graham Hill sitting in for Victoria. She is on assignment today. Chip Patterson will join us in 15 minutes. We'll do what we usually do with Chip. Entertain, inform, enlighten. Actually, I have no idea what we usually do with Chip. I have a good time. My philosophy has always been, if I am having fun, then that's all I really care about.
And it makes my job easier.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, that's the philosophy. I think I know the stuff you want to hear. So as long as we're in that ballpark and I'm having a good time, you'll have a good time. Real quick email, by the way, welcome to the Adam Gold Show. Again, I introduced Graham before, but I got this email and I just want to read this and then we'll move on from it. So I saw on X, Twitter, we don't have to call it X. What every place I see X, formerly known as Twitter, no. If you type twitter.com, you go to X. Just call it Twitter.
Too many words. He wants to say all that.
Just call it Twitter. So I saw on Twitter, I'm promoting FanDuel. Yes, you hear the commercials all the time. And our station is running ads for other sports books because there's 1,000 of them. And like other companies have hired other hosts or other producers or other people, right? Does this mean your station and show will finally embrace sports betting? Sincerely, Jim. And the answer is, we've been talking about this every day for how many years now?
Don't we have don't you have a segment called
Place Your Bets?
Place Your Bets?
Every day. Now, are we taking are we handicapping? No. I'm not. I mean, I think there are some people who want to hear handicapping, but it's probably not what we do because I don't want to be the person who suggests you do something and it goes the other way and you get mad. Like, the proper way to treat wagering on sports is entertainment. If placing a bet on a sporting event or on a player within a sporting event, if that is what excites you, I have always argued that it should be your right to do it. I've always been in favor of legalized sports wagering. It has always puzzled me why it was only allowed to be done in one place, and now it can be done anywhere as long as your state approves it. It took North Carolina longer than it should have, but we finally got here, and I've made no secret of the fact that I was livid at the idiots in our state legislature who used absolutely the wrong reasons to vote against it, who clearly didn't understand the industry. It's actually safer to make it legal in terms, if you are worried about game fixing. You are protecting yourself by making it legal. The only drawback is the fact that gambling and losing is financially is financially damaging. You got to protect yourself. Only wager what you are prepared to lose. That's it. That's why I say make it entertainment. That's it. Just make it entertainment. A little sprinkle is okay, as long as that little sprinkle doesn't make it harder to meet your monthly obligations. All right. Let's take a second look at the news of the day. It is take two. So what happened? NC State won a basketball game. That was good. They get to play another one tonight, just after 7 o'clock. Good for them, right? Good for them. They needed to win a game. They won a game. Kevin Keats had a great assessment of their 9-point win. 9-point win, right? Over Louisville was the 94-85?
94-85.
94-85. 9-point win. Kevin Keats with a perfect assessment of their victory.
give Louisville a lot of credit, man. That was a heck of a battle all the way to the end, and we're fortunate. Neither team played any defense. We happened to score 94 points, and I thought guys stepped up. Jaden Taylor had a good game. Scored the ball, had 8 rebounds. I thought Michael was really solid, made baskets when we needed to, and Casey Marcel was really, really good. Maybe we should play all of our games back here at the DMV because he was really good.
Yes, I appreciate Kevin Keats saying neither team played any defense because, it's hard to argue that.
It's not wrong.
By the way, Sky Clark had 36 for Louisville. That's not bad. Also, and this is not a secret because we saw the news starting to come out last night, but it is official now. Kenny Payne out after 2 seasons at Louisville. So here's an alum who was at one point an assistant for John Calipari at Kentucky. And when they brought Kenny Payne back, everybody in Louisville was very excited because one of theirs, who won a national championship there, was coming home to make the program right. Rick Pitino left it in a bad way, and then Chris Mack came in, and it was not going the way that Louisville wanted it to go, and I guess Kenny Payne really kind of treated it like a complete teardown, and it's obviously not close to being where it is. I think they were 12-52 in 2 years. You can't be that far under 500 at Louisville because at the very least, you should be playing a schedule in your non-conference that allows you to win 10 or 11 games and then pick off 5 ACC games if you can, and you're at least close to 500, but their records have been abysmal, and he has been bad, and he has also been quite defensive. My real regret of the whole situation is that Nolan Smith, who played at Duke and who loves Louisville because his late father, Derek, was a star for the Cardinals back in the 80s. He went there as an assistant coach, and that didn't last very long. That just lasted 2 years. So my heart goes out to Nolan Smith, who is one of the best people I have met in the college game. I love Nolan Smith. I hope everything works out for him. But Kenny Payne wasn't good. And he was he lacked accountability, personal accountability for his role in all of that. And he was asked about it last night, which I'm not going to get into whether it was the right time. It's always the right time when you know the coach is going to get fired. Some of the stuff that Kenny Payne had to say yesterday was probably true. That there wasn't a ton of public support. Yeah, they were bad, right? But there wasn't a ton of public support for an alum at Louisville. But I think you also have to earn that. It's not automatically given. And they were so bad last year, and he wasn't good, and he didn't deal with it well, that he just kind of spent all his personal capital probably in year one. And so they had to show improvement, and they didn't really. And they were sort of better, but they're really not better at Louisville. All right, let's get to the Hurricanes last night, who unfortunately lost to the New York Rangers by a 1-0 count. Graham, you and I were sitting up in the on the 5th floor, and the truth is that the Rangers really dominated the first period. I think we can all agree on that. They dominated the first period. The goal, however, was a fluke goal. It was Adam Fox throwing it at the net. It goes off the skate of Brady Shea and in. And Rod Brindamore, after the game, talked about the goal that basically was kind of a freak.
Yeah, first period we were not ready for that, type of what they threw at us. That's legit. There's a reason they're one of the top teams, and they showed it, and we were not ready. And I thought the second was kind of flipped. It was almost the opposite. But we didn't get the one to kind of even it up. And in the third, we were pushing a little bit, gave up a few too many. Cooch played really well. Their goalie made a couple nice saves too to keep them in, but we didn't generate probably enough to really put the heat on them.
It's a pretty good assessment. I think I don't think Carolina was as good in the second period as the Rangers were in the first, because I thought the first 8 or so minutes of the second period were an extension of the first period. But Carolina did get to their game after that, and they created a lot of chances. What Carolina didn't do was shoot the puck enough. You're going to have to put more shots on Shesterkin and not look for the pretty pass, but there was a lot of, this is where Carolina goes to sometimes, where they try to make that beautiful pass and create a goal, and the Rangers know that, and the Rangers were not allowing that. There were more shots available than passes, and Carolina was in pass mode last night. There were a couple of odd man rushes that the top line had, and they overpassed the puck and ended up not even getting a shot on goal. But, hey, the truth is that they played a good game. They didn't win it. Kochetkov was awesome, and I would prefer to go, it's all right. You'd rather win than lose, so that's not good. But the biggest takeaway from that game for me was that, man, Kochetkov was tremendous. He looked like he was in control of the game. Shesterkin was also great, so it was a good goaltending battle. We'll talk more about the Canes a little bit later on. Chip Patterson's going to join us when we come back. We'll talk a little bit about basketball. He's going to run the Chipolytics on the Mountain West, because I've been told the Mountain West is going to get 7 teams in the field. And, I'll laugh. And also, is NIL, as it is currently being used, is that sustainable? I'll ask Chip Patterson that question next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Bring on the madness.
Ryan, catch and shoot 3, right wing. He did it again. Ryan has 27.
It's ACC Championship Week.
Carolina sweeps the season series from Duke, and the Tar Heels are your unquestioned ACC regular season champions.
The ACC Basketball Tournament on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med, Roofworks, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford.
The wait is over, college hoops fans. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is officially live in North Carolina, and right now, new customers get $250 in bonus bets guaranteed when you make your first $5 bet. Just go to FanDuel.com, promo code AdamGold to sign up. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to over-unders to which team will cut down the nets, all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Take the court with $250 in bonus bets, win or lose, when you place your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com, promo code AdamGold to get started. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. You must be 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Bonus issued as a non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Get ready, because Scott's is taking over Daylight Saving Time. It's such a big event that we're calling it Day-Long Saving Time. And now it's got real savings. In fact, it's the biggest deals of the year. Audacious? Absolutely. So don't wait. Stock up early and you'll be able to save up to $20 on Scott's Triple Action and Easy Seed products today at the Home Depot, Lowe's, or Ace Hardware. Offers available March 7th through 20th at select U.S. stores while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See store for exact offers.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And with My Lowe's Rewards, your savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers and earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our new loyalty program at lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See lowes.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Imagine pulling up to PNC Arena on your very own Hurricanes Harley-Davidson motorcycle. That dream can become a reality. The Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, and your Carolina Hurricanes are teaming up to give the Ultimate Caniac a custom Hurricanes 2023 Harley-Davidson Softail. The bike will be given away live on the ice at the game on April 5th, and you might just win it. Go to caniacsbike.com. That's caniacsbike.com for your chance to win this custom-painted beauty of a bike. Do it now. Enter today.
This is Adam Gold.
That was a big deal to me this morning. I'm sorry if the heathens that we had on for the roundtable, Jeremy and Travis,
my people,
didn't even understand Jurgen Klopp.
It does sound different. Feels like a clogging thing. Like I should be river dancing.
The Adam Gold Show.
That's a great lead into this segment because this is what we do here.
Not fade away?
Well, no, I'm going to tell you how it's going to be.
Okay, that works.
Yeah. Great track. Great track. It's the Adam Gold Show. Graham Hill on the ones and twos, who's maybe more excited than anybody I know for. There's like a Grateful Dead T-shirt giveaway at the Canes games coming up. When is that? When is the Canes shirt giveaway?
It's the next time they play the Red Wings, so I think it's at the end of the month.
Okay,
maybe
cool.
like the Actually, I'm not going to give the day because I don't want people to get in line before me. I'm going to keep that information myself.
Excellent, excellent. All right, we do this every Wednesday. We talk all sorts of stuff with Chip Patterson, my friend, CBSSports.com. Cover 3 podcast. And there he is. If you're watching on, I guess you can watch on YouTube, or if you're watching on TV, Chip Patterson, my friend, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Hope you are. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too. I want to get to stuff on Chapel Hill because once again they have decided that we're all stupid. It is amazing.
Capitol Hill. Chapel Hill might think we're stupid too.
Oh, my fault. But
Capitol Hill.
You're right. Thank you very much. It is Capitol Hill. They do not think we're stupid in Chapel Hill.
I was stupid in Chapel Hill. my time in Chapel Hill was filled with a lot of stupid. But that's not here nor there. We can do that on a podcast sometime.
That sounds fair. Let's run the Chipolytics. I keep hearing that the Mountain West Conference is going to get maybe 7 teams in. I think the ACC is going to end up with maybe 4.
I think you're saying 4. The ACC will end up with 4 teams with I know, but just listen. The committee they've been butt recently. Like Virginia's last 10 games don't factor in the same way that last 10 games factored in 15 years ago. All games are the same. They're all little snowflakes, and Virginia did enough work already that I think it's okay, even if they are just continually sliding backwards in the projections. I think the ACC gets 4. I think there is an open door given, favorable results and maybe an unfavorable treatment of Indiana State that could allow for a 5th. And there's a couple teams that are there, but it sounds like you are questioning the strength of the Mountain West.
I'm not questioning the strength of anything. I have watched 0 games played by Mountain West teams. I am not questioning anything. But Jay Billis said something, who does watch basketball, said something on Scott Van Pelt the other night that I believe is probably true. And I would believe that this is true not just for the Mountain West, but also for the Big 12. That if the ACC were playing in that league, or if those teams were playing in the ACC, then records, and the Big 12 is probably a bad example because this is not the same thing. But if those teams in the Mountain West were playing in the ACC, their records might be a lot different than they are. It is so hard to to compare across because there's so little overlap from the Mountain West to the ACC. Jay Billis said we should have an ACC Mountain West challenge and see how it all works out. How many teams from the Mountain West you think get in?
I'm not sure about how many officially get in. New Mexico has not had a good second half of the season, and they've been playing their way into a tenuous position. But what I can tell you from watching a decent amount of Mountain West and tracking it through the season is that they've got a super strong top 6.
Right.
And what's happened is that every single time these top 6 teams all play each other, they all knock each other off. You know, they go and they win these thrilling games. And look, a lot of them have been on the mothership CBS Sports Network, right? So you do have to stay up a little bit late, but that's okay because just like when you get the trumpets, you know, for the Mountain West games, you know, the
I love that. I missed that.
It means you also get a little bit of when you watch the Mountain West on CBS Sports Network.
Chip's got his own soundboard.
So
do that again.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Do that again.
You want me to pull on this little ripcord right here? This ripcord, they can go like that.
That's so good.
All right. Utah State is legit. If Utah State jumped into the ACC right now, they could finish easily with a double bye in the ACC tournament in a number 3 or a number 4 seed. I think Nevada is probably on the same level as a Clemson, Wake Forest, Pitt in terms of their overall ceiling. I think at places like New Mexico and Colorado State, you've gotten a lot of great coaching. Boise State's been rock solid in terms of being really consistent. A lot of these environments have better home court atmosphere, better student sections than a lot of the home court advantages that we have found throughout the ACC. And you're playing at elevation. So you've always got these wild factors going into it. I'm serious. Like
you're right.
These things make it really interesting and difficult to win on the road. I mean, you know, we're sitting here and you're trying to like move them across conferences. The teams that are making the NCAA tournament from the Mountain West have a lot of conference losses, but they're not against the bottom half. And this is where the overall rating of the Mountain West, when those teams play against a San Jose State, a Fresno State, an Air Force, that is an automatic W. And I think that outside of Louisville, you don't have that as much from the ACC this season. I mean, I'll tell you right now, Notre Dame, Georgia Tech yesterday, I was so fired up for that game, and it delivered.
It was fun. It was fun.
Look,
I'll give you
2 first-year coaches. They both got a lot of young players. Miles Kelly's obviously a junior, but you know, you got some of the best freshmen on the court. Marcus Burton, obviously for Notre Dame. You know, those teams that were playing on Tuesday, you know, Boston College, that was a tough team to defeat. Quentin Post was a mess to handle inside. So I just think the ACC this season, as opposed to last season where this was not the case, has a stronger bottom half. And that's where overall, I think the ACC is a tougher, better conference than the Mountain West. But the Mountain West has a more loaded top tier of teams that if you drop them in the ACC, they would be top half teams. And they've just got a bunch of easy wins at the bottom of the standings.
And the funny thing is that every time an ACC team lost to one of the teams below it in the standings, it got ripped for it nationally. Every single time an ACC team, like when you lost to Georgia Tech, I'm not going to even lie and pretend that I've seen Georgia Tech more than 6 or 7 times this year, but I saw all of their conference wins. And I'm like, how is that team under 500? Every time I watch them, I'm like, how is that team under 500? They look like they have too many good players. I've seen Wake.
I'm part of the evil national media. I didn't hear that. I
oh my gosh.
didn't hear a lot of ACC getting ripped.
They did.
From losing to Georgia Tech. I heard a lot of like, wow, Damon Stoudemire got a brand new team. He's doing a really good job. Hubert Davis is the coach of the year, but if we're starting to put together other names on that list, who's got a better set of 7 conference wins than Damon Stoudemire?
It's incredible.
I mean, he beat all the big dogs. I thought Shrewsbury did an awesome job, and you know he's got his son on the team, Marcus Burton, who I mentioned earlier. Those are 2 freshman guards that were really big in big games against good teams. I think that the Mountain West ACC predicament goes like this: ACC's got better teams deeper down in the standings. Mountain West has a little bit more consistency in terms of teams that are all close enough to the top. Duke and North Carolina, or North Carolina and Duke, have separated themselves from the rest of the conference. and you just don't have that as much in the Mountain West.
By the way, I miss the days where we used to go to like Ogden, Utah, and Boise, Idaho, or Missoula, Montana for the first rounds of the NCAA tournament. I miss those days. Boise
with the court, where like the court would have an individually specialized for the location design on it.
No, they used to use Boise's court, so it was like half orange and half blue inside the key, which I loved. I loved seeing all of that, and I always wanted to cover a sub-regional at Boise. Never got the opportunity to do that. All right, let me get to. I'm just ask a broad brush question here, but there were two different happenings on Capitol Hill yesterday. There was a roundtable hosted by the senior senator from Texas, Ted Cruz, on NIL, which I think we've beaten that horse to death by now. And then there was an actual congressional committee hearing based on the Dartmouth University decision that declared those athletes to be employees and allowed them the right to vote to unionize. That one is more along the lines of what needs to be discussed. But let me just ask this question. Is NIL, not as initially intended, but as is in practical use today with collectives and all of that, is that a sustainable model for college sports?
No, I don't think it's a sustainable model, because you are asking too much from the individuals and the fans, boosters, like people who care about the success of one school.
Mm-hmm.
You are asking too much of them without delivering, because the asks are going to be all we need is this, and then we can go get it, and then we'll deliver it. All we need is this, and then we can go get it, we can go deliver it. And this is really groundbreaking stuff. I'm so glad to share this on this unprecedented statewide platform, but they only give out one trophy.
What?
I know. You would think the way kids are these days that everybody could win national championships and conference championships. So when I run the very complicated math, again, shout out to public schools, like that means more people lose than they do win if what you are trying to do is win championships. And so if you continually sell the hopium of a championship to these individuals who are parting ways with money, not just to be able to fund major stadium renovations that need to be done so that you can continue to see attendance increase in college football like it has each of the last 2 years. If you want to continue to be able to keep pace across the board with the best strength and nutrition, with all the best amenities so that you have the best team, and also be able to obtain the best players via NIL in a free agency every single year world, most of these boosters and most of these fans are not going to get a return on their investment. And that's why it's not sustainable, because at some point they're going to walk away, become disinterested, and stop cutting checks.
How about this? How about the fact that the people who donate to the NIL, right? To that cut checks to Strutting Wolf. I'm making it up. Obviously, it's not called Strutting Wolf. To all of these NIL collectives that help schools, incentivize recruiting. Like, these people are not also given tickets. You're not getting anything tangible, right? So there's Like, if you can put your name on a building, that's one thing. If you donate enough money to a school, you can put your name on a building, and that's there. Or a locker room. Or you can endow a scholarship. You can do it. There's a lot of things you can do, and you get something for it. Here, you're just giving them money, and then you're hoping that they win. And at some point, that money dries up. I mean, people don't have unlimited monies to, some people do, but most people, the overwhelming majority of people, don't have the money to just keep funneling it to schools. Isn't there a better way?
I mean, you asked that with a smile, because what Nick Saban said rubbed people the wrong way because he was asking for players to get a share of the revenue generated through the media rights deal, which again, like that is the NIL operates outside of players taking part in the billion-dollar industry that has become college sports at the highest level. You cut them in on the media rights deal, they start to get a portion of that. But he wanted to retain control. So if you're getting money, but you're giving up control, that sounds like employment.
Yes.
That sounds a whole lot like employment. But he didn't want it to be employment. And so I don't have a problem with what Nick Saban said. I think it was smart for Nick Saban to agree to a round table and not a congressional hearing.
Yes.
Because get that oath out of here. This man's not about to perjure himself. He's the greatest of all time. But will he participate in an informal setting to discuss his expertise on the topic? Absolutely. But I think that he really does see an unsustainable model, and he does not have the answers. And he is trying to point that out, that this NIL world will not work. I think he wants college football to still be around 10, 15 years in the future, and the way that we're going isn't going to work.
We all want it to be around. Here's the thing. See, Nick Saban would have the answer if they were willing to address the right questions, because the correct answer is collective bargaining. Because with collective bargaining, you can, between two sides, negotiate something that works for both parties. And so I'm just going to bring this up because the AD at Alabama, Greg Byrne, was also at the round table, right? And he said,
so was our boy Jim Phillips.
Yeah, so exactly. But I have the quote from Byrne, which is probably pretty similar to Jim Phillips. And frankly, I have been appalled at how the Atlantic Coast Conference has continued to spend money lobbying on Capitol Hill. I want the league I support to be smarter than this, and obviously I'm just always going to be disappointed because we cannot pretend that anything that we have been doing for the last 60 years is either fair or, as it's been proven now, legal. It ain't legal. The Supreme Court told us that with what is the Alston decision, right? And Brett Kavanaugh told us, like, this doesn't seem right to me. And look, to have a 9, we actually had another 9-0 vote recently, but the 9-0 vote against the NCAA was the better one. So Greg Byrne said that, we won't have 21 sports at Alabama if we have to pay the athletes. So here's my response to Greg Byrne or Jim Phillips or anybody that says that. I'm going to use the monies that the universities got from shared media rights deals in 1999, when the ACC distributed $9 million to each of their member institutions. 1999. It's a long time ago, right? 25 years ago, correct? Is it 25? 25 years ago. Good math, Adam. So do you know what that is worth today? $9 million in shared revenue. You know what that is worth today?
No clue.
$17 million.
Okay.
The ACC, bottom of the barrel, can't rub two nickels together. We're distributing nearly $40 million to each school. How is it possible that with essentially almost three times as much money, that we can't afford to pay the athletes something, which I'm not suggesting that we have to pay them all. But it is fundamentally idiotic to think that people should buy that crap when in real dollars, we've 2.5 times just in the ACC. What is the SEC going to get? The Big Ten. We're talking about pretty close to $100 million. They were behind the ACC at the time. The ACC was at 9. You're talking about, 12 times? Are you joking that you can't fund athletics across the board? It's because they just keep hiring more people and doing more dumb things with their money because they waste it. Why can't they just operate with fiscal responsibility?
I think, because they've had to hide the money. That's why, because you can't generate any profit.
Right.
Which is, I need to agree with Jim Phillips. here on this unprecedented statewide platform in the state where the ACC was founded and currently resides in Charlotte, that when he said, if, we were to go to employment, certain benefits, I think I'm paraphrasing here, but certain benefits and amenities for our student athletes would be cut. I agree. I think that is likely. I don't think that you would cut sports, but I think that the benefits that are provided to your non-revenue sports would be lessened. Did those sports at all of those schools need all those amenities? I don't know.
Correct.
But that's where you find the money. It's in the banana stand. There's always money in the banana stand, and you don't need the same strength and nutrition program for every single athlete.
I mean, it's just incredible. But, the stuff like nutrition and academic assistance, that stuff can all be maintained, right? I mean,
I think that the place where you would see those decisions being made, when, not if, but in my opinion, when the athletic departments that want to play ball are entering a world where their revenue sports athletes, at a maximum or at a minimum, your football players are employees. The places they would not cut sports because sports are good for the university's business.
No, but that's what they're telling us now.
No.
They're telling us we're going to cut sports. Was it Phillips that said we'd go back to 6? We'd be at 6 sports in a minute. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Why are we threatening?
I think that a closer thing was when Philip said some of the amenities. It would make the experience of being an Olympic sport athlete closer to club sports than it is right now, in which an Olympic sport athlete might be able to get amenities that are closer to the revenue sports.
When I was in school, the Olympic sports all existed. They all existed.
I was just, if you were in charge of a budget and somebody handed this to you and said, we need to find out ways to fill this new column that we've never had to fill before, I think it's the places where they've been having to invest because of nonprofit reasons that end up getting redirected first.
Or it's weird. Could some of that money actually come from, like the administrators, like their salaries?
And don't even get me going down
from coaches.
The self-preservation. Did you hear us talk about that? Neil Brown was on the hot seat at West Virginia going into last season.
Okay.
He had 9-win season from hot seat to contract extension. Wow, you get a contract extension. That contract extension included very, very small pay cuts with each year that goes up. Reworked his deal so that it did go up every year, but it was less money than what his original contract was, so that money could be reinvested into staff hires and your assistant coaching pool. These are the decisions that are going to have to be made at every level, where things are tight. We can't spend like we used to. So what is $400,000 to Neil Brown? To someone who's making $4 million a year? Something, not nothing.
Right.
But it's a whole lot more to take that $400,000 and be able to go spend it on 2 or 3 different assistant coaching salaries, being able to give the bumps needed to retain a staff so that you can take that 9-win season moving forward. I think head coaching salaries on average will come down. I think AD salaries on average will come down. We will have our individuals like a Kirby Smart, who is just way out of the world, all the way at the front of the line. But I do think that even at the super rich Big Ten and SEC, the financial future involves head coaches, administrators, athletic directors, everyone to figure out ways to show some more fiscal responsibility.
All right. What I'm going to do here is tease next week because we're out of time. So I've been thinking about this for some time, Chip Patterson. We all know what's going to happen in the probably near, not long, not far, not future, I think within a couple of years. Where it's 2 conferences, they've got most of the good teams and all of the money. What happens when the rest, the ACC, the Big 12, and the rest of FBS football, calls their bluff and says, you're free to go. We're not participating. So you and I will talk about that next week because I think we're coming to the point where it's time to call the bluff. So You are the best always, sir, and I will talk to you next Wednesday.
Sounds good. Y'all be well.
Chip Patterson, we teased a week ahead of time. It not only could it happen, but it should happen.
That's just how exclusive Chip Patterson is.
Oh,
you got to tease him for a week in advance.
You know what that really is? I wanted to get to it, but we don't have time to do it. And the chances of me remembering to talk about it next week are like 1 in 8. You know, it's plus 800 that I'll remember to talk about that next week. Speaking of plus 800, we are going to place bets, and we will stretch next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
NC Medicaid is for more people like me.
Adults who don't have children.
People who serve.
People who do the heavy lifting.
Child care teachers.
Full health care coverage at low or no cost.
Doctor's visits, emergency rooms, and prescriptions.
So if you applied before and didn't get it, apply again.
NC Medicaid covers more people than ever before.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
The wait is over, college hoops fans. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is officially live in North Carolina, and right now, new customers get $250 in bonus bets guaranteed when you make your first $5 bet. Just go to FanDuel.com, promo code AGS to sign up, and you can bet on everything from the money line to over-unders to which team will cut down the nets, all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Take the court with $250 in bonus bets, win or lose, when you place your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com, promo code AGS to get started. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. You must be 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Bonus issued as a non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
During this sports season, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling to and from athletic events. Whether you are driving out of or across town, wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. Start the season off right. Prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. Remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Think earning a degree is out of reach? Well, if you're a North Carolinian from a household making $80,000 or less, it's time to think again. Because the new Next NC Scholarship could cover all of your tuition and fees at any of the 58 NC community colleges. Or at least half, if not all of your tuition and fees at one of the 16 public universities across the state. The best part? It doesn't have to be repaid. See if the Next NC Scholarship could be the opportunity for you and how simple it is to apply at nextncscholarship.org.
Everyone goes through tough times, and everyone can get through them, as long as they don't have to do it alone. Dial 988 if you need someone to talk to. Get what you need to get to a better place. Together, we'll find the care that works best for you. We're here 24/7. Call, text, or chat 988. 988. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, Darcy the Cow here for Black Cow, the mature manure. It's time to start getting your flower and vegetable gardens off to a great start with Black Cow. Prepare new plant beds with a 1.5-inch layer of Black Cow in the area and then mix it in with the soil 6 inches deep. Black Cow is organic. Pick up the bright yellow bag and get growing.
Black Cow, the mature manure, Black Cow.
This is Adam Gold.
I would like to go to the supermarket with the Bears front office.
Exactly.
Right? Oh, no. Do I want, like, fruits and vegetables, or do I want this box of Devil Dogs? Devil Dogs, by the way, the greatest snack cake known to mankind. Unfortunately, you need a lot of milk. Otherwise, you're out of luck.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Graham Hill on the ones and twos today. Have you seen the Greatest Night in Pop doc on Netflix?
I don't believe I have. No, I have not.
All right, it's the making of We Are the World.
Okay. The Britain version or the no. We Are the World is the U.S. one.
Britain version was what?
Feed
Band-Aid?
the World
Or something like that. Yeah. Well, it was obviously that was the inspiration for We Are the World.
Yep.
In fact, Bob Geldof, who organized the British version of it, which is kind of a weird Christmas song. Bob Geldof actually came and was present at the making of We Are the World and actually spoke to the group as they were getting ready to start recording. And I think he made a lot of people uneasy by explaining just how dire the circumstances were. And you could tell that it hit home. And Quincy Jones, who was running the whole thing, he wanted them to feel what they were doing.
Sure.
Right? Not just be there to sing and be on a record, but to feel what they were doing, understand and embrace the cause. And so Geldof was actually there. But it was one of the most incredible hour and a half of television. And I've seen better documentaries, but for nostalgic reasons, to see all the people in that room was just unbelievable.
A lot of talent. A lot of talented people all around microphones and in one room.
Just incredible. And to see how, frankly, uneasy Bob Dylan was to be there. Bob Dylan, you see somebody that looks like they lack confidence. That was Bob Dylan.
Mm.
Like, why am I here? Waylon Jennings walked out. It was too late, I guess, for Waylon Jennings. He walked. Waylon Jennings like,
I'm done.
I'm out of here. An incredible, it's about an hour and 37 minutes of TV. Just
I will watch
awesome.
it for my homework next time that I fill in.
Really, really good. Absolutely recommend it. It'll go fast. It was a fun. What amazed me was how'd they get footage for so much of this stuff? Not just the stuff in the room. That they were filming a music video. I get that, but they had a lot of other footage that you would not have expected them to have. But anyway, it was just the whole thing was kind of amazing to me. But I enjoyed every second of it. Before we get to the stretching and the placing your bets part of the program, we are looking for campaign slogans. Aaron Rodgers has a chance, if he accepts the invitation from independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to be his running mate. So we're looking for campaign slogans, something you can put on a bumper sticker, on the podium when you're on the campaign trail, right? You got to have a slogan. Build back better.
Oh, ad placement. It's a bad thing about playing these instrumentals on YouTube. All right, there we go.
We're looking for donations, right? So here's mine. I keep saying anti. We're going to go anti. Anti-vax, anti-sax. Who's going to say no to that on the campaign trail? You can put that on a bumper sticker. You can slap that on the podium when Aaron Rodgers is at the campaign rally. By the way, shame on ESPN for taking this seriously. The guy who covers the Jets on for The Athletic wrote a detailed, 2,000-word piece on, is it possible? What? No, it's not possible. You're not going to be a football player for the Jets and run and be on the ticket and campaign. You can't do both.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Can't do it. not from July on. This is the campaign. Are we running to win, or are we running just to be on TV occasionally? So
running to win, running for America. There's another one.
There you go. Very nice.
No
right.
love for DC.
My favorite one, we're just going to go back to the beginning real quick. Don't let Washington be your Achilles heel. Kaniak Pack gave us that one.
That's my favorite so far.
That is so good.
Leader in the clubhouse.
Clip, sack the establishment. I like that. Jeffrey, dodging shots on and off the field. Get it? There's a lot of meaning in there. Dodging shots on and off the field. That is fantastic. Biggins, immunized against zone and woke defenses.
Whoa.
Oh, that's great. One voter, Kennedy Rogers, the cleansing of America. I have to process that. Eric, who needs the Secret Service when you have ayahuasca?
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I was wondering how long it would take before ayahuasca got referenced.
I had one. I let the old Teddy Roosevelt campaign slogan, a chicken for every pot, ayahuasca for every glass, right? I'm not sure that who needs the Secret Service when you have ayahuasca is as much campaign slogan as it is just a general philosophical question. I don't know. Apocalypse Tau for Dean Shaw. That's interesting.
Bring America out of the dark.
That's right. Aaron Rodgers went into the dark room for however long. We don't have time to stretch, do we?
Yeah. How do you want to do this?
Stretch once.
Stretch once.
Well, I don't stretch before I run when I used to
I don't
run.
either.
So,
let's just do this quick. CBS and TNT Sports have unveiled their announced teams and studio crew for the 2024 NCAA Tournament. And while there are many faces and familiar places, there are still notable changes that will come this year's edition of March Madness. Most notably, this will be the first time since 1990 that Jim Nantz will not announce the Final Four. That's the biggest one that I have for you.
Wow. Oh, that's right. We heard last year that it was his last Final Four. Oh, that's a bummer. So it's Brian Anderson?
It will be Ian Eagle, who will work alongside his longtime partner from both college basketball and the NBA, Bill Rafferty, and Grant Hill.
Okay.
I got mistaken for Grant Hill once during my internship at Duke. It's a crazy story that we don't have time to share, so I'll just leave you with that.
Okay.
Bets time.
Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you smash into the woods.
Let's just say the security guard did not follow Duke basketball all that well. I'll leave it at that. All right, Adam, I'll let you go first. It's your show.
No. I'm not going first.
All right, well, then in that case, NC State plus 1.5 at minus 112. Give me the Wolfpack to cover. They covered yesterday at 8.5 against Louisville, winning by 9. 1.5. Come on, Wolfpack. Easy money. I hope so, at least.
That is just, I can't even tell you how funny that is. You were mistaken for Grant Hill. That's somebody who doesn't watch, didn't watch a lot of basketball. This was not was it in person?
Yes.
It was in person, and you were, okay. Well, that makes even less sense.
As they said, Duke just pays my bills.
All right, NC State and Syracuse, I know you did this. By the way, I won my 3-team parlay yesterday. Right? We had Notre Dame minus a 1.5. They made it close. NC State minus 8.5, and BC outright to win. That was plus 660. So we're already well ahead of the game. So let's just parlay. Syracuse minus and over 151. That'll be plus 230. Sorry about that, Wolfpack fans.
Chris Bell, over 12.5 points at minus 115. First meeting against NC State, 13 points. Second meeting at PNC Arena, the Chris Bell game, 26 points in the first half. 39 combined total points against the Wolfpack this season. Easy money once again, maybe? Hope so. Sorry, Wolfpack fans.
Yeah. All right, I'll tell you what. I gloated over my win. I want to give you more winners on the other side. I'm still getting email from people that want me to talk more about this. We talk about it every day. I don't think we're going to go full-on 900 number here and bring in touts. but we talk about gambling all the time. It's fun. Gambling is fun. I'll give you a couple more on the other side, and we'll have the wall of sound. And Wes Moore from NC State will join us next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam from my man Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. I want to talk about a great deal, a no closing cost mortgage. That's right. No closing cost mortgage saves you money. It's a way better deal than, let's just say, trading 3 draft picks for a bad quarterback as opposed to trading away a really good player for 2 draft picks that aren't worth the 3 draft picks you traded for a bad quarterback. That's a bad deal. Don't make bad deals. Make good deals. Don't pay closing costs. Save yourself thousands of dollars, and then when the rates come down, and they will in an election year, you refinance free of charge, saving all that closing cost money and lowering your monthly payment. Oh my gosh, what a country. Maybe that football team in Charlotte should think about it. MillerLending.com. Make the best deal for you. Don't pay closing costs. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2502146.
Now is the time to switch to Spectrum. Get Spectrum Internet delivering fast and reliable speeds for just $49.99 a month, plus free advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced security and a free Spectrum Mobile Unlimited line with nationwide 5G. Ask how you can get a Visa Rewards card up to $500 when you add more mobile lines. Internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and mobile. Get it all with Spectrum One. Go to Spectrum.com for full details. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Restrictions apply.
Tim Donnelly here, and I want to let you know March is a critical time to check your home's windows. Call the pros at Window Nation. Right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you get 2 windows free. Plus 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments for 24 months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com now.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings Sportsbook. The wait is over. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of NASCAR, is now live in North Carolina. Now you can legally bet on all your favorite sports anytime, anywhere, right here in North Carolina with DraftKings. For a limited time, new customers who sign up with promo code TIMD, that's TIMD with no spaces, and bet $5 will receive $250 instantly in bonus bets. DraftKings has the best features, including same-game parlays, player props, and more, with fast and easy payouts right at your fingertips. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now using code TIMD and bet $5 to get $250 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code TIMD. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC. NASCAR is not a sponsor of this promotion and used under license.
Progressive asks, what do a slow Friday night, bored teenage boys,
I'm bored,
a pack of fireworks,
this is gonna be awesome,
and a teetering branch suspended over your car have in common?
Look out!
They can quickly wreak havoc on your slow Friday night.
Uh-oh.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This hour on the Triangle Sports Leader is brought to you by the Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
You can feel the madness!
Go to GotBrian.com. That's GotBrian.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It is interesting. You have St. John's in your bracket, and nobody is going to convince me that their recent hot streak, largely built on the back of beating horrendous teams, isn't going to play a factor in whether they get in or not. But we're not going to debate the merits of St. John's, who did lose to Boston College on a neutral floor. It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. You know what we need to do on this program? Graham Hill is sitting in for Victoria. We need a segment or a section of the show for corrections. Because every day I screw something up. So, I'm familiar with the old political, we'll just call it a slogan, a chicken for every pot. Not in every pot, as was more popularly remembered. So I looked up who said it, because I wasn't sure who said it. For some reason, I thought it was Truman. That was dumb. It was well before him. And so, I looked it up earlier, like right before the show, because we were looking for political slogans for when Aaron Rodgers joins Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on the independent ticket for president. And I said it was Teddy Roosevelt, who was walk softly but carry a big stick, all of that. But it was not Teddy Roosevelt. And I looked it up. It was Herbert Hoover, who was president back in the early part of the 20th century. So shouts to my friend Greg, who says, listening as always, enjoying it, but everything but call me a dope, which is 100% fair.
Mistakes happen. I messed up the description of one of the YouTube videos. It's corrected now. Look, nobody's perfect. We just get fortunate enough to be put in these positions, and sometimes we screw things up.
There you go.
Which is why place your bets. We say with discretion, choose wisely. If you want to chase after our bets.
Yes. All right. So yesterday, before we get into the Wall of Sound, and Wes Moore is going to join us in a couple of minutes, do you know last weekend was the Duke-Carolina game?
Mm-hmm.
You know what the most watched college basketball game was?
It was, I actually had as part of my halftime entertainment, it was the Big Ten championship game for Caitlin Clark.
Yep. Over about 4.5 million watched Caitlin Clark. Do you know that they're already selling out WNBA arenas? They assume, I think Indiana's got the first pick.
Yes.
Right? Fever have the first pick. They are assuming that they will take Caitlin Clark. They're already selling out Indiana Fever games. It's an incredible, just an incredible, groundswell of interest. And Jamel Hill tweeted this out the other day, and I think it's true. I'll get to my bets in a second. This year, and this is no knock on the men's game. This has nothing to do with the men's game. But the most recognizable player, maybe the most recognizable players, including name recognition, in the entire sport of college basketball, regardless of gender. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. Everybody knows who they are. If you watch basketball, you know who they are. They're super, super famous.
Well, if you watched any of that LSU South Carolina game from last weekend, there were some fireworks in there.
Yeah. Here's what I don't want. I appreciate what Dawn Staley's doing, apologizing for seeing that. It should be the same, men's basketball or women's basketball. I don't think we would be apologizing for men's basketball if something like that happened. I just don't. I don't think it happened. All right, it happened. It's stuff like that happens. It shouldn't be less becoming because it happens in women's basketball. We have to give, these are fierce, competitive, strong athletes. Sometimes stuff happens. Move on. I saw one complaint. Well, I forget the player who pushed the smaller player because she's bigger than everybody. She pushed the player down. She shouldn't have pushed somebody that wasn't her size. We would never say that if it were two guys. Never, ever, ever say that. Have a little respect for these athletes who just happen to be women. That stuff always bothers me. But the Big Ten championship which was a noon game, by the way, not a primetime game. It's a noon game for almost 4.5 million viewers. Watch that. More than watch Duke and Carolina.
Additionally, it's the 5th most watched college basketball game, either men's or women's, this season.
Regular. Okay, this season.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because it won't be watched more than. Look, Iowa playing deep into the NCAA tournament. It's going to be pretty wild. They're going to wish that tournament had its own television contract, because there's money to be made on women's basketball. The stories are going to continue to be told. We'll talk to Wes Moore about the interest in the women's game and all of that, what it says, and maybe it's a blip. Maybe it's just this is Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is part of this story as well. Remember, they met last year in the national championship game, right? So maybe it's just them. I don't know. Could be. But we've been seeing the growth in women's sports happen really for a number of years. We're seeing it more with soccer. It's growing and growing and growing. We have, there are 2 professional leagues in the United States now. The NWSL there's competition. I don't know what the league is called. It's brand new. But there's 2 of them. Okay, let's go. Sort of like when the USFL came about in the early 80s, and the whole goal was to get some teams folded into the NFL. Eventually sort of happened. I mean, the league died, but it did trigger a round of expansion, which probably would have happened anyway. All right, we have a little bit of time. Let's get to a wall of sound.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, there's 2 things I want you to hear. The first is NC State's basketball coach, Kevin Keatts. They won 94-85 over Louisville last night. Louisville, by the way, has since fired Kenny Payne, their head coach. That is a plum job opening up for somebody to come in and take what really is a traditional powerhouse program and return it to anything resembling glory. But here's Kevin Keatts, NC State's coach. They needed a win, and here's how he summed it up.
Give Louisville a lot of credit, man. That was a heck of a battle all the way to the end, and we're fortunate. Neither team played any defense. We happened to score 94 points, and I thought guys stepped up. Jaden Taylor had a good game, scored the ball, had 8 rebounds. I thought Michael was really solid, made baskets when we needed to, and Casey Marcel was really, really good. Maybe we should play all of our games back here at the DMV because he was really good.
Look, I appreciate Kevin Keatts admitting that neither team played any defense. It's fun. You know what? Since both teams need to win the ACC tournament to think about the NCAA tournament, obviously in the case of Louisville, but we've been in this position for a while now that they were going to need to win, as it turns out, 5 in a row in Washington, D.C., as implausible as that sounds. I mean, that's their path into the NCAA tournament. If they're playing on Saturday night and losing, they're not making the tournament. They have to win it all, and that's the position they put themselves in. But Kevin Keatts, on his star, third-team All-ACC guard, DJ Horne, who did not play yesterday, is there an update for today?
When we practiced yesterday, he shot a little bit, and we wanted him to go through, kind of our warm-ups to see how he felt. I wasn't going to play him unless I knew we absolutely had to have him. We'll do the same thing. He'll have a round-the-clock treatment. And the great thing about it is we do play a 7 o'clock game tomorrow, but he'll still be a game-time decision. He's starting to feel better, but, he's not moving well. Probably should have played him because our defense wasn't very good. He couldn't guard anybody, but certainly nobody else did. So he can play offensively, which is, who he is, but defensively he's not sliding well. So we'll know a little bit more towards game time tomorrow.
Leaning into the joke, Kevin Keatts. I appreciate that. Lean into it. I mean, I should have played him. He couldn't defend anybody, but nobody else was either. So I love it. You want to hear from DJ Horn, who he's asked, can we get an update ahead of tonight's game against Syracuse?
Yeah, definitely pushing to try to play. Definitely going to, get back to the hotel, attack the treatment as best as I can. It's just, right now, it's no promises. Kind of a game time decision, see how I feel before the game.
So it's a hip problem, right? It's when they said lower extremities, I expected it to be frostbite. But, the other day it was called lower extremities. I know he was working with bands, and, man, it's when it's the middle of your body like that, your core, is really hard. I hope he can play because it's fun to watch DJ Horn play. They can beat Syracuse with or without DJ Horn. They can, absolutely. And then your reward would be another shot at Duke. We'll see. I look forward to I think the quarterfinals are going to be interesting, especially if we get Wake and Pitt. And Wake will play in probably about, I'd say, 45 minutes. Maybe less. Actually, Florida State, Virginia Tech is moving along pretty swiftly with FSU with a 5-point lead inside of a minute to play. Wes Moore, NC State women's basketball coach. He will join us next. We'll talk about the way their regular season, I guess, came to an end, what's next, what they will do this week, and maybe even national women's college basketball next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Bring on the madness.
Ryan catch and shoot three right wing. He did it again. Ryan has 27.
It's ACC Championship Week.
Carolina sweeps the season series from Duke, and the Tar Heels are your unquestioned ACC regular season champions.
The ACC Basketball Tournament on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med, Roofworks, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my man, Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group and Apex, the retirement planning specialist, and somebody that you should meet if you are thinking about retirement, or maybe you don't want to think about it. Maybe you just want to let your own money work for you down the road. You're a long way from retirement. Either way, Coach Pete DeRuta can help. All you got to do is call 888-843-0013 or text my name, Adam, to 600-700. That will get you started, and it unlocks a whole bunch of free stuff. Are you a homeowner? You understand that termites are the worst thing you could have in your house. What about your finances? Financial termites. It's a real thing. I mean, they're not actually eating your money, but they eat away at your retirement planning if it's not done right. Coach Pete DeRuta can help. Find out how to avoid the financial termites and how to build a strong foundation for your retirement. See what I did there? All you have to do is call 888-843-0013 or text Adam to 600-700. Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. Text Adam to 600-700 today.
What? New scratch-offs are out? That means new chances to become a North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club member.
Yeah, in the Winners Club, I'll reinvent myself. I won't go by just plain Todd. I'll go by Toddrick. I'll get a gold jacket, play my saxophone again. I'll stop and smell the flowers. Call my mom more.
Oh, wrap it up, Todd.
It's Toddrick.
This month's tickets pack $370 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 2.93 to 4.24. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
You call that a precision stop?
When a rookie stunt driver, just give me a shot, meets the trainer who thought he'd seen it all.
Come on, focus.
They'll soon find out that behind the wheel of the Nissan Rogue, with the power of VC turbo and the most fuel-efficient gas-powered engine in its class. Watch this. The protege can become a master. But this is no ordinary blockbuster. It's a Nissan sales event ad.
Whoa! Level up your drive with 1.9% APR financing for 60 months on the 2023 Nissan Rogue. Shop the Nissan sales event. Visit your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today. Auto Pacific segmentation excluding hybrids and electric vehicles. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city 34 highway to 30 city 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. For well-qualified buyers, 1.9% APR financing for 60 months on new 2023 Rogue and dealer stock. Example, 60 months financing at $1,748 per month per thousand financed. Actual down payment may vary. Subject to residency restrictions and NMAC credit approval. Not all buyers qualify. Dealer contribution may affect actual price set by dealer. Contact dealer for details. Ends 4/1/24.
Let me talk to those of you who are contact lens wearers. Adam Gold here from my friend Dr. Lori Travers at Travers LASIK. If you are tired of wasting time time and money, TraversLASIK.com is where you need to go because she will save you time, no contact lenses or glasses to deal with. You just wake up and go, and money, 0% financing for 24 months is available, plus contacts and glasses cost a lot of money. 919-510-6830. Make the call now. 919-510-6830, TraversLASIK.com.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
This is Adam Gold.
What type of soup is Jason Kelsey?
He would be like a chicken and dumplings.
Oh, chicken and dumpling.
Yeah.
Very nice. Maybe like an Italian wedding soup. What kind of soup would Travis Kelsey be?
Travis, I feel like he'd be like a tomato bisque.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Graham Hill on the ones and twos today. NFL free agency well underway. Do you know what team signed the first free agent? Make the first move, Graham. Very first team. The Dallas Cowboys. They re-signed their long snapper. Somebody named Trent Sieg. Actually, I don't even know if I pronounced the name right. There you go, Dallas.
Sure.
And I think that was the only move they've made. Something that I know we can talk about with Wes Moore, NC State women's basketball coach, but we're going to leave that for the end. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing okay. I'm glad we got that long snapper covered. I tell you what.
One of my favorite things in the world. One of my favorite things in the world to do is to talk to you about your Cowboys. We're going to get to that. First,
right.
I know Sunday didn't go according to plan. What did Notre Dame do in the fourth quarter that kind of choked off your offense? Only 8 points in the fourth as they rallied to beat you.
Yeah, well, it wasn't just the fourth quarter. They the second quarter we didn't score very much either. So, they played zone, and we in the third quarter I thought we did a much better job of spreading them out, reversing the ball, which is what worked well up at their place. And then the fourth quarter, I think we got away maybe from moving the ball. We stood around a little bit too much. Also, doesn't help when you're 3 for 17 from three,
right?
And they're 8 for 17 from three. So, that was those 5 threes, or I guess, 5 threes. That's a 15-point difference. So, but again, frustrated as a coach. You want to try to help your players get over the hump. I think that may be the first time, Adam, I've ever experienced losing in a championship game of a tournament. So we were fortunate to go 3-0 earlier, and then I think when I was at Chattanooga, I think we won 9 in a row when we made it to the championship game. So not a good feeling for sure, and disappointed that I couldn't help us get it done.
Wes Moore, head coach for the NC State women. So what do you do for a week now? You got to sit around. I've never understood that. You guys have to sit around for a week before, and the women's tournament starts a little bit later. What do you do?
No, we love it. Our conference tournament is basically 2 weeks before the NCAA,
right,
where the men are 1 week. But I love it. We're most years, last year it didn't work out probably for the first time, but most years this week is during our spring break.
Right.
So we let our players have 3 days off. So that was good for them. So they'll, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll lift weights and shoot a little bit, and then Friday and Saturday crank back up. Friday, Saturday, we'll have a couple of practices where we can really focus on us. We don't know who our opponent is yet, so that's good. We can't worry about that. work on the things that we need to do better, and then Sunday night we'll find out who we have and start the preparation and basically have probably 5 days or 4 days, 4 or 5 days to get ready. So I like it. So it's not bad. And as you know, I put my golf clubs up in October, and so they've been in the closet for about 5 months. But yesterday I got them out and went down. I live about an hour from Pinehurst. So I went down and played golf yesterday, so I needed that. And now I'm on my way to see a state tournament high school playoff game over in the Winston-Salem area. And so it's good for us to, be able to catch our breath, catch up on recruiting and things like that. So it's all good.
Did you play well yesterday?
I never play well, Adam, but, had a great time. Didn't lose. I don't think I lost the ball, so that's a good thing. But my goal was we played at the Country Club in North Carolina, and my goal, their greens are pretty fast.
Yes.
My goal was to not blow it by the hole, and I bet I hit 3 putts completely off the green. So I must have still been thinking about that game from Sunday when I was standing over some of those putts. But if they gave a long drive contest winner for putting, I might have a shot at it.
That's interesting. That would be I think that would be a great contest. Wes Moore is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. What does it say? I brought this up earlier. What does it say about the popularity of the women's game? Does it say anything about the popularity of the women's game that on the same day that Duke Carolina was played in prime time, the Big Ten championship game featuring Caitlin Clark and Iowa was the most watched college basketball game of the day?
That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's awesome. But, we of course played at Iowa a year ago against Caitlin Clark, and we actually won the game, okay? But nobody called me last year in the NCAA tournament for a scouting report on how to slow Caitlin Clark down, because we held her to 45 points in a win. How about that? So, she's amazing. It is, though. It's a great time for women's basketball, and I'll be honest with you, obviously I enjoy watching it, when I get the opportunity. I think it's a great game. I think, it's come so far, and it's an exciting time, definitely, to be involved in this sport.
Well, you have been around women's basketball for a long time. How do you explain to people how much better the game is today than it was maybe 10 or 15 years ago?
Yeah, I just think, the players have gotten so much better. The athleticism, the skill set, again, a Caitlin Clark, I don't know how much you've seen of her, but I'm serious. If she crosses half court, you better pick her up because she will shoot it anywhere across half court. And, the night we played them, I don't know, since we won, if the press was trying to get me to go there, they asked me what I thought of her shot selection and her taking that many shots. And, I look at the stat sheet and said, hey, guys, if you're shooting over 50% and if you're shooting over 40% from three, you can shoot it every time. I don't care, okay? Again, she's amazing, and there's a lot of other exciting players in our game and a lot of good freshmen. And so it's I think we'll continue to climb. We timed it real well, too, of course. Last year, the women's Final Four and all, and the NCAA tournament just blew away the ratings and number of people watching on TV. And it was the same year that our contract with ESPN expired. So pretty good timing. And because of it, I think women's game has prospered, definitely.
There's no question about it. You guys still get to host first couple of rounds. I don't know how much longer they're going to stay on campuses. I hope they do, because I think the environments are awesome. But whatever they can do, if they can feel like they can make more money at it, they're going to make more money at it. I know that. All right, real quick before I let you go ahead.
I was just going to say, that's what makes it so competitive in our game to finish in the top 16, because the top 16 teams that are selected, and obviously a lot of it's based on your net and your strength of schedule, but, finishing that top 16 is gold, Adam. It's amazing because you do get to play. And, again, that doesn't guarantee anything, especially now. There's so much parity in our game. But it's definitely an advantage playing at home. So that's what puts pressure on us coaches all year long is, one loss may bump you out of that, that top 16 seed. And so it's very, very valuable, no doubt.
All right, we're out of time to talk Cowboys. They haven't done much, so next time.
Well, there's nothing to talk about. Again, it's frustrating. Dak's contract, I think, is kills us. We have no money for free agency, so here we are. Anyway.
All right. Well,
the Texas Rangers are still World Series champs.
Wes Moore, NC State women's basketball coach. I appreciate your time. Good luck. We'll find out on Sunday who's coming to Reynolds Coliseum. I appreciate it, and we will talk to you very soon.
Thanks so much, Adam. Appreciate it.
You got it, Wes Moore.
Bye-bye.
You got it. I should tell them to enjoy the champion, the playoff game in women's basketball here in North Carolina. But we'll see. But that is an element of the women's game that is probably they might have even voted it. That's an element that's probably going to go as more money comes in and they feel like they can sell more tickets in these arenas, because if they can sell 15,000 seats, they're going to do that. We'll see. I hope it's very cool to see it still on campuses. When we come back, Hurricanes lost last night, but they're still positioned pretty well for a run in April into May, maybe into June. Longtime hockey scribe Scott Burnside joins us next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
ACT Construction Equipment is proud to be your certified local Takeuchi dealer in Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Asheville, Wilmington, and Myrtle Beach. Takeuchi has long been a world leader in the compact construction industry. Let ACT Construction Equipment help you find the right machine for the job. Our full line of excavators, track loaders, and attachments are designed for low maintenance and high productivity. Stop in today for a demo or visit us online at actce.com. ACT Construction Equipment, your authorized Takeuchi dealer.
Are you taking care of someone on Medicare? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming. You're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help you figure out what steps to take and when. SHIP counselors can answer your questions. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
The wait is over, North Carolina. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book and is officially live in the Tar Heel State. And right now, new customers get $250 in bonus bets guaranteed when you bet your first $5. Go to FanDuel.com, promo code AGS to sign up. Then you can bet on everything from college hoops to NASCAR and everything in between, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Get started with $250 in bonus bets, win or lose, when you place your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com. Promo code AGS to get started. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. You must be 21 or over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
During this sports season, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling to and from athletic events. Whether you are driving out of or across town, wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. Start the season off right. Prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. Remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Need money for college? Well, if you're a North Carolinian from a household making $80,000 or less, the Next NC Scholarship could pay for more than half, if not all of your tuition and fees at any NC community college or public university. And it doesn't have to be repaid. We're talking at least $3,000 for community college or $5,000 for a public university and possibly more. Get all the details about the new Next NC Scholarship and see how simple it is to apply at nextncscholarship.org.
Everyone goes through tough times, and everyone can get through them, as long as they don't have to do it alone. Dial 988 if you need someone to talk to. Get what you need to get to a better place. Together, we'll find the care that works best for you. We're here 24/7. Call, text, or chat 988. 988. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
This is Adam Gold.
There are two groups of people who do not really know how college sports works. One are fans. It's not your job. And the other, people who get paid to represent citizens of the United States on Capitol Hill.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Graham Hill on the ones and twos. We have a shade more than a month of NHL hockey still to play. Hurricanes are down to their final 17 games. They played the Rangers last night in a goalie battle. I'm not going to say for the ages because I think both teams were a little bit short offensively. But we did see some incredible play from both Igor Shesterkin, the winner, and Pyotr Kochetkov, the loser. And I would argue that Kochetkov's workload, even though the Hurricanes had more shots, I'm not sure that Kochetkov's workload wasn't a little bit more difficult than Shesterkin's. How do you stop a 2-on-0? That was incredible last night. Scott Burnside, long-time hockey scribe. You can go to Burnside on hockey, sign up for the newsletter, and he joins us on the Adam Gold Show. I enjoyed that battle. Did you think maybe 2.5, 3 months ago that the Carolina Hurricanes would essentially be even in any goaltending battle with the likes of an Igor Shesterkin or Sergei Bobrovsky, who we saw here a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, and you'll get, I assume, Bobrovsky will get the call on Thursday night, right, against the Hurricanes in a rematch of, a game from, 2 weeks ago. Might have been the best regular season game anywhere this season.
It was an incredible game. Yeah,
terrific game, won by the Hurricanes late. And I think, Adam, you're absolutely right. I mean, certainly, the journey of this Hurricanes team, especially as it relates to stability in goal, it has been a bit of a meandering one this season, and I think it's then there's still lots of questions to be asked, right? I mean, it's been amazing to me to see Frederik Andersen come back after dealing with the blood clotting issues that kept him out for weeks and weeks, and to have him come back and step into sort of elite level of play is pretty incredible. I think it's fair to, you do have to ask, okay, his durability is always going to be an issue. I'm afraid that's just the way it is for him. But boy, if he is healthy, and as you pointed out, 17 games left, a month to go before the start of the playoffs. And with, I've been so impressed by Kochetkov, who seems to be so much more mature. And maybe we shouldn't be surprised by this, right? It's the evolution of the game. Yeah. He's a young man. The expectations are very high for him. But I don't think it's a stretch to say that he has played a significant role in turning around the Carolina Hurricanes season. And I did a mock, what happens over the last month of the regular season as it relates to the major awards in the NHL. And I had Kochetkov at 3 in my rookie ballot, if you will, and behind Brock Faber and Connor Bedard. But I just think his play has been so important. And I think his consistency is so critical. To me, that's the hallmark of why things fans should be really optimistic, I think, about it. And I'm fascinated. I don't think there's any doubt that Freddie Anderson starts game 1 of the playoffs, assuming good health all the way around. But I do know that there would be no hesitation to go to Kochetkov, given how he has played over the last month and a half, 2 months, and good for him. And it bodes well for the future of this team.
Scott Burnside is joining us, longtime hockey writer. Go to Burnside on Hockey, get the sign up for the newsletter. Here's the thing. We go back to the game in Ottawa on December the 12th, and that's really the start not only of him, but of the team. Carolina going into that game was 14-12-1 overall. Since then, they and Florida have the 2 best records in the NHL since then. Kochetkov's save percentage since that game is .928. That's more than half of the games that he has played. Last year, he had about a 6-week run. Might have even been a little bit less than that. It was like Veterans Day till just before the holidays, where he was excellent. He got hurt in a game against the Devils. He was not the same since. I've been particularly interested in the game since the Winnipeg game, where he kind of melted down in the third period in a 5-3 loss. He was very good in his start against the Devils up in New Jersey this past weekend, and he couldn't have been better last night. The goal wasn't his fault. He made so many spectacular saves. So I think in general you're probably right about Anderson getting game 1, but I think Rod's going to rotate him between now and then, and if Kochetkov is the better one, I wouldn't be shocked if Rod handed him the crease in game 1.
Well, and how about this? I mean, we know the history of Rod Brind'Amour, and he's not afraid to go back and forth with goaltenders during the playoffs. And I think it speaks to the culture around the team, and I think it speaks to, every team says, oh, we don't care who's in goal for us. Every team lies. But I think in general, it's very true with this Carolina Hurricanes team that, assuming good health for Freddie Anderson and Fyodor Kochetkov, that it really wouldn't matter to the players skating in front of them who is in goal. And would it surprise you, let's say they draw the Philadelphia Flyers, you're going to open at home, would it surprise you to see him use both goaltenders through the first 4 games? We saw a little bit of that last year with Antti Ranta starting and then Freddie Anderson coming in. So it wouldn't surprise me. And to me, it wouldn't be – I think sometimes in the playoffs when you see a goaltending switch, it speaks to panic or it speaks to, a lack of stability. I think the opposite is true with the Carolina Hurricanes, and I don't think it would surprise any of us, no matter how Rod Brind'Amour chooses to rotate his goaltenders come playoff time, assuming good health.
Yeah, every playoff run they've used 2 goalies, every single one under Rod Brind'Amour, and this will be the 6th. Now, some of it is due to injury, but other he's had no problem going to another guy, because the truth is that Carolina, until Freddie came here and health has dictated Freddie, they've not had the so-called the number one guy. I haven't had a Connor Hellebuck or an Ilya Sorokin or an Igor Shesterkin. Now, Scott, you wrote, you spent a year writing for Hurricanes.com, doing some special pieces, so you understand the inner workings of this front office. Did it catch you at all by surprise that they were so heavily in, not only in free agency before the season, but in on Jake Gensel? it was such a departure for what they normally do, because there's no guarantee Gensel's going to be here next year. But the Kuznetsov thing makes more sense. That kind of is on brand for Carolina, the depreciated value, the asset. But the Gensel thing, that was a little bit of a surprise to me.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't surprised because I think, in hindsight, when you go back to a year ago at the trade deadline and Shane Gosper here comes in and of course, immediately after the trade deadline, you were already missing Max Pacioretty, and then immediately after the deadline, of course, Andrei Svechnikov goes down, and a team that goes to an Eastern Conference final but cannot find the back of the net in a 4-game sweep at the hands of the Panthers. Was there lamenting and maybe some second guessing in some quarters of the fans, and had you made a different move or another move at the deadline, would you have had a different outcome against Florida? Again, that's a bit of a mug's game, all the armchair quarterbacking after the fact, but I do think that weighed into what Don Waddell and the hockey ops people were looking at this year. And I think it's been fair to say of this team, it's such a well-built team. It goes without saying it's one of the best coached teams in the NHL, but it's a team that lacks a true, I'll use my air quotes here, a game breaker. Svechnikov has that ability. Marty Netchas has shown, flashes of it. But in terms of a guy, I thought a year ago, would Vladimir Tarasenko, was he that kind of guy that could have helped the Hurricanes? The guy who is a proven goal scorer. Well, Jake Gensel is exactly that. And I have to tell you, I was just talking to a longtime NHL executive just before you and I had a chat today, and he was marveling at really how little the Carolina Hurricanes gave up to acquire Jake Gensel, who I think it's fair to say was the prime rental on the market leading up to the trade deadline. And, the draft picks are protected in a way that you'll be happy to give up a first-round pick if you make it to a Stanley Cup final. You did not give up any of your upper echelon prospects. And I understand what Pittsburgh, Kyle Dubas, he needs to restock a barren shelf in Pittsburgh. But, boy, that's a pretty good bit of work done by Don Waddell and the hockey ops group in what you had to give up to bring in Jake Gensel. And I think that helps soften the blow with the idea that, well, if he does walk away, who knows? He walks away after a Stanley Cup parade or to a final or whatever happens. I think there is a feeling of you have done good work here. You put this team in its best position to win. I think this is the best Carolina Hurricanes roster since the 05-06 season. You look at the different parts of it. I love the Evgeny Kuznetsov addition. Again, low risk, high reward. I've spent a lot of time around Kuznetsov over the years. I sat down with him at All-Star in Vegas a couple of years. And, listen, it's not been a straight path for him, but he is a gifted player. And I could, on my sense, just watching the first couple of games, so motivated to want to make a difference and to really want to be part of what is, it's potential or the possibilities in Carolina. And listen, he's playing for his career right now. It's, he came from Hershey, the American Hockey League, to come back into the NHL, and he knows, that the road has run out. So I think the potential for him, and again, I'll go back to that 2018 playoff run. I had him at the top of my Conn Smythe ballot. I talked to scouts and executives, and I had him above, just slightly, but I had him above Alex Ovechkin in my final Conn Smythe ballot when the Caps won their first and only Stanley Cup. And that's how good he was. So, between he and Jake Gensel, you're getting proven playoff performers, cup winners, both of them. Boy, the addition, the proof is going to be in the pudding, right? Can you score at critical moments? You're going to likely play the New York Rangers in the second round of the playoffs if you shouldn't lose to Philadelphia or the Islanders, frankly. So let's just assume you play the Rangers in the second round, and then you are looking at having to play Florida, maybe Boston, Toronto, but Florida's the best team in the NHL in my mind right now. So now you're looking at a rematch in the Eastern Conference Final. Can you get critical scoring at critical times, well, you've added two players who have a history of doing just that. So, and no guarantees, Adam, but it looks. This is a roster on paper that I think is every bit as formidable as anyone else right now in the Eastern Conference.
Scott Bernstein, before we let you go, and you can follow him on Twitter at Overtime Scott B, and go check out the newsletter because Scott's been covering the league for a long, long time. What's interesting is I know people want, everything's instantly. We want the results right away. Gensel played with Kuznetsov and Necas yesterday, and I think they'll stay together for a little bit, but Rod Brindamore told me before the game that will Gensel eventually play with Aho? Yes. So at some point, and who that third player is, my guess is that it's more likely to be Teuvo Teravainen than Andrei Svechnikov, and Svech could drop back to play with Kuznetsov. But I'll tell you, in my opinion, Martin Necas might be the X factor for this team in the next season in the playoffs, because the Necas that we have seen since he returned from the injury has been a complete revelation in how he's gone about his business. He's doing a lot of work in the middle of the ice. He's been more physical. He's been more responsible defensively, and I think he's got to be energized by seeing. He's been paired with Kuznetsov for a couple of games now, and they look like they were made to play with each other.
Yeah, there's no question that, again, I think of a guy like Kuznetsov, and I think Gensel is right in the same mix as well. I mean, this is a team that values creativity. They value skill. Yes, you have to play on both sides of the puck if you're going to play for Rod Brindamore. But in the options now for Rod Brindamore and that coaching staff, you think about the internal level of competition on a nightly basis. Listen, this next 17 games, frankly, I'm not sure the results really matter at all. But it is about finding out, what fits, what works, where does Gensel fit best, who meshes with Kuznetsov, who is a wildly creative player. So you have to, not everyone can play with a player like that. But to me, it also sets up this idea of on every given night, if you aren't bringing it, if you aren't doing what you are supposed to do and doing it well, this lineup, has extra pieces right now. And you better be on your game every night if you want to be in the lineup, and if you want to be playing top 6 minutes, you want to be playing on the power play. And I think that internal competition is really a healthy kind of thing. It's no one assumes anything because, well, we only got, we only have 6 or 7 guys who can really do this. Well, no, this is a team that has a lot more than that now, and certainly a lot more than they did, 10 days ago. And I do think that internal competition is helpful, and I think you see that on a lot of championship teams, the competition for roles and for ice time and for places in the roster. I think that's a good thing to have.
Scott Burnside, Overtime Scott B on Twitter. My friend, I appreciate your time. We'll see you here during the playoffs. I know it.
I look forward to it anytime.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate Scott Burnside dropping by. Everybody's saying the same thing about Carolina's roster. At some point, it'll all click. Like the Kuznetsov line had many chances in the second and third periods to score. They just didn't connect. I think the Aho line also created a lot of opportunities. They just couldn't get the final product. They just couldn't get the last pass. I think a lot of what, and I talked about this on the Canes Corner podcast, which is available wherever you get your podcast. We do it about 40 minutes or so after every game. We do the post-game show, and then we go and do another post-game show. And we call that the Canes Corner podcast, usually, well, always live on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com and search Canes Corner Podcast and then subscribe to it.
Jesper Foss in the middle of a lot of scoring chances last night as well.
Foss was great. That line, the fourth line that was centered by Jesperi Kotkaniemi last night, that was Carolina's best line. Frankly, their only good line in the first period. And it was a very good line throughout the night. This is no disrespect to Kotkaniemi. I think that was mostly Foss and Nason, who were 2 of my 3 stars. I think they both played fantastic games. Best player on the ice, though, last night for Carolina was Pyotr Kochetkov.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
I mean, it could have been 4 for the Rangers, considering some of the saves that he made. And the one goal was a fluke. Now, it wasn't a fluke the way the Rangers were playing. They deserved the luck because the Rangers dominated the first period. It would have been criminal to escape the first period at 0-0. I mean, Carolina rarely had the puck. The only real scoring chance was a Fost to Nason try right out in front that Nason, I think, kind of forked over the bar. But look, Carolina's roster is just going to take a little time to get used to the new guys, and they will eventually click. But man, they can ultimately put 3 legitimate scoring lines on the ice. I think ultimately Seth Jarvis is going to have to put Fost back with Stahl and Martinook to get that line doing what Rod wants it to do. This is not a knock on Seth, but I think for that line to do what he wants it to do, I think he needs Jesper Fost on it, and then you're going to create a third scoring line. Nothing wrong with that.
Either way, take warning, Kings fans. We could be getting ready to see some exciting hockey.
Cause chaos. Take warning was last year or the year before.
That's right. Cause chaos was mentioned a lot yesterday in the post-game comments, both from Jordan Stahl and Rod.
Oh, really?
I was thinking to myself, wow, this marketing campaign is really paying off this season.
I didn't pay attention to it. They both used the term cause chaos?
Yeah, Stahl said, they just denied us from crashing the net and getting to the game that we like to do and causing chaos around the goaltender. And I went, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I said this a lot in the podcast, that there was too much passing last night. So there were a couple of occasions where the Aho line was coming in and looked like a 3-on-2 situation. And this was Sebastian, I believe, both times, who I thought otherwise had a pretty good game. Maybe not an amazing game, but a pretty good game. And in both situations, Aho was looking to pass. But in both situations, the Rangers were looking for Aho to pass. So there was nobody to pass to. At that point, shoot it. Shoot it. Then attack the net and go look for a rebound. There wasn't enough of that. That's where I thought their mistakes were made in the offensive end. It wasn't like you turned the puck over. It was, you had the puck and you didn't create a great opportunity out of the possession. Ultimately, all you did was have the puck.
It was really tough for Carolina to set up anything offensively just because they were playing so much in their defensive end that they really couldn't get down to the Ranger zone.
Again, that was the first period and the first 7 or 8 minutes of the second.
Third period, it started to even up a little bit.
I thought the third period was relatively even. Yeah, I thought Carolina was still a little bit better than the Rangers in the third period, but it was almost a wash. Now, there was a sequence where there were chances at both ends, and the Rangers' scoring chances were way more dangerous. That was what I thought about the third period. And that's where Kochetkov, he makes a 2-on-0 save on Vincent Trocheck. He makes a breakaway save on Jack Roslovic. There were about 3 or 4, wow, okay, this kid's keeping Carolina in it. Can somebody get a goal and make it worth at least a point? Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Carolina, again, I thought overpassing was Carolina's biggest issue last night. I thought too many passes, not enough shots.
Overpassing, not enough crashing.
Yeah, and if you just throw it at the net and go get it, which is something Carolina is usually pretty good at, if you play it that way, you at least have a little bit better chance. You can get a lucky goal. I mean, the truth is that the Rangers' goal was a lucky goal, whether they deserved something out of that period or not, and they deserved more than one. The goal they got was fortunate. I mean, Carolina had, the last 12 minutes of the second period, Carolina looked just that way, and they didn't get a lucky bounce. I mean, so it's okay. But, I mean, the Rangers got the only goal in the game was essentially an own goal. It was an Adam Fox shot that hits the skate. If it doesn't hit Brady Shea's skate, Kochetkov probably handles it.
It also feels like it was the first time last night that we've seen a team come into PNC Arena and sort of establish their play early on into a game.
Well, I don't know. Well, at PNC Arena, yes. I've seen bad first periods from Carolina at PNC, but not to the point where I thought Carolina was bad. I thought the Rangers were exceptional, and I thought Carolina did enough in their own end defensively to just kind of rope-a-dope it. So, but yeah, the Rangers were awesome in the first period. Nobody was going to sustain that. Carolina was fortunate again that it was only 1, but then again, it could have easily been 0. All right, Graham, I'll see you up in the fifth floor tomorrow, maybe against Florida. That should also be fun. This has been fun, Graham. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The wait is over.